Antonio and 94.5 FM. Online at ESPNSA.com. All day, every day. KZDC San Antonio. Jason Minutes. Rob Thompson. The Blitz.
It is the Blitz. 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM. Brackets are out. Obviously, we're going to talk a lot of NCAA Tournament basketball on this Monday. I'm Jason Minix. Rob Thompson still on vacation. RJ Ochoa from bloggingtheboys.com in for Rob today. James Pledger producing as always. Interesting weekend of basketball until, of course, you got to the Spurs disaster that was last night when Pop rose the white flag, say, in the third quarter. There was some great golf yesterday. The Grammys last night that RJ Ochoa was all over. But in reality, it really is all about the brackets, although what a day in the NFL free agency world.
It is a very exciting week. Good to be back with you, and not shocked at all to see Rob Thompson continuing to play hooky. So shout out to him, of course. But this I don't want to get like too existential right away, but I don't think it would be the RJ Ochoa way if I didn't. Yesterday, kind of, and I know we're, God willing, on the way back to normalcy. It kind of felt like normal, right? Like with, I know we've had like these days over the last year with lots of sports going on when everything got rescheduled, but it felt like a normal March Sunday, like the players, the selection show, an NBA game, the Grammys, like it's award season. Like it felt like, again, just like what this time of year feels like, if that makes sense.
Well, and again, you look at it, and I did watch a bit of the Grammys last night. After the Spurs game was over, I wanted more torture in my life. And the fact that they were sort of in person in Los Angeles, I mean, it wasn't what you normally see at the Grammys by any stretch, but there were people in person, socially distanced, wearing masks, all that sort of stuff. And at the Grammys, I mean, the mask game was taken to a whole new level with the matching outfits and everything else. Somebody's found a way to make some money in the mask business. But you look at it, you're right. There is a sense of normalcy. We didn't get March Madness last year. And I know I said last week, when you saw Kansas and you saw Duke and Virginia with some positive tests, these conference tournaments are not worth it. Knowing that the NCAA tournament is right in front of you, but was there enough time to test negative enough to get to the tournament if you had a positive test at this point in the year? Now, with the Texas Longhorns winning the Big 12 tournament in dramatic fashion, I am glad they kept playing. I am glad that Shaka Smart got to cut down the nets and Texas won their first ever Big 12 tournament, although I don't know if championship weekend was worth it, even though the basketball was great, because we still have to get to the dance and then get through the big dance. And it looks like we're going to be there. And the selection committee, I thought, did a really good job of putting some teams in the right regions and where we're going to have some great matchups. But it's I don't know which is the hardest region, all that. We'll talk about that with Jack Thompson coming up at 4:30. He's our official, unofficial bracketologist type. But I mean, you look at the brackets and, man, just to be able to print one out and hold it and sit here and study it and go through it. Yes. What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at the fact that you need to print it. Like you have to. You can't let it be digital. Like you really have to print it out. It's not the same thing. I print
out two of them of the exact same. Why? Because I want to sit here. I want to look at it. I want to make sure. I want quick reference. If when Jack is on at 4:30 talking brackets, he says something. It's so much easier to find than online. I mean, I will fill one out digitally, and you can too at ESPNSA.com. Best bracket at ESPNSA.com gets you a $100 gift card to Pinkerton's Barbecue. A perfect bracket could win you $1 million. But you look at it, I still need to print one out. There's something about holding it, and then when Thursday, Friday, Saturday comes and you're marking them off as you go, and then you X one out. I mean, there's still something nice about having the paper version that you can hang on to for quick reference while you're watching the games. That, and I'm old, is what you're saying.
I mean, if you I have the PDF open right now, and you're saying, "Oh, I need to find it really quick or whatever." You know what I do? Control F, boom, and I can find it super easily, super fast, super quick, super efficient.
What does Control F do for you, my friend?
Are you serious? You really don't know what Control F does?
No.
Okay. So if you hit Control F, and you type any term on any website you're on, it searches for it. It's Control F for find. So
I thought it was Control F for another word, but
nice.
I still would rather have this. When I fill mine out, I will fax it over to you, my friend. I'm glad you got that. Again, lots of bracket tournament talk today as we continue. NFL free agency. I just saw Pledge had it up on the screen, but it went away. You don't have to. But James talking about the Kansas City Chiefs getting a new lineman, a guard, a massive deal. They've got to protect Patrick Mahomes. The NFL free agency is off and running. But when you look at what the Cowboys are going to do, I have finally seen the Cowboys linked to a veteran player. And what it really tells you is what we should expect as Cowboy fans. Coming off of an injury, veteran player, probably won't cost a lot of money, has some association with Dan Quinn, and will be relatively cheap compared to.
I mean, it's upsetting how predictable this was, that they would be boring, they would chill. They didn't learn their lesson with Dak Prescott and waiting and not capitalizing, but it is the Cowboys' way. DeMonte Casey really hasn't played that much in the last couple of years due to injury, but you're right, does know Dan Quinn, and in an interesting twist of events, the Cowboys once upon a time had a safety that they flipped over to corner, and Byron Jones. Dan Quinn, DeMonte's rookie year, flipped him from corner to safety, so the opposite sort of flip.
Well, and again, I mean, if he is fully functioning and healthy, coming off of an Achilles injury, and he's cheap, all right. I mean, when you've got a quarterback making Dak Prescott money, you've got to do some bargain shopping in other places. I mean, I'll see what it is. Texans made a whole bunch of moves this weekend to continue consistent poor play, although they're adding bodies. They made a trade with Miami, which kind of makes sense. One bad linebacker for another. We'll get into what the Texans are doing. They also make some news this weekend, sort of Jim Trotter on the Rich Eisen show, just completely tap dancing around like he was gonna give you the beans on what's going on with Deshaun Watson, but it would backtrack. I can't go there. I can't say this. But we will hear at some point from Deshaun Watson, almost as if there are some cameras following him now. And Rich Eisen suggested that, and Jim Trotter started to go down that road, then pulled back, which makes me wonder if there are some cameras following the Deshaun Watson saga in one way or another. And Jim Trotter is a part of that, but being very careful about what he is allowed to say right now, because we still have not heard from Deshaun Watson. And to me, that is on Deshaun Watson. He could pick any show or his social media and be very clear about what is going on with the Houston Texans.
Oh, yeah. The GQ, the ESPN, the magazine, Mina Kimes feature, like that is around the corner. And we talked about this, like Deshaun right now, this is a very, very, very unique situation where I can't really recall one where everyone was on the player side. Like the team can say whatever they want and nobody is buying it. Deshaun, I honestly think Deshaun could come out and be like, yeah, Bill O'Brien made us all eat Captain Crunch for breakfast every day. And everybody would buy it. Like, because it's like everybody is like that entrenched in this idea, which might be total and complete truth, but it's going to be bad. But I do have a surprise for you, Jason, right now that lets you know how quickly the world works, not to get too far from the NFL. Look what I have in my hand. Oh yeah.
Look at you. You printed one out because you realized having it on, as a piece of paper is there's
I
just
printed out too, baby.
Oh, look at you. We're twins. Pledge, where's your bracket?
Already filled them out, submitted. We're good to go.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so no paper. You got to have a paper bracket, Pledge. I mean, come on. It's not really March Madness unless you have a paper.
Oh, look at that. He just held up a blank piece of paper. Look at that. I mean, you don't print one out after you filled it out online just so you're able to read it?
No, I can follow along.
There's nothing better than when you're marking in the red, and then you get the big X, and then of course if you've got
That's
to take
the worst part.
let's not be real. You want to know at what point, and then is it on Saturday, is it on Sunday, where you take it up and you crunch it and you just throw it away because it's over. I mean, it is part of the tradition of March Madness. How long before you completely crumple up your entire bracket and toss it? Or, if you're filling out a bracket against your wife, just making sure you're keeping proper score for her. So then, you could win whatever friendly bet that you had with your spouse, right? There's reasons to print them.
If Joanna's doing one, all the power to the Minix household, certainly. I don't think that Cammy will be filling out a March Madness bracket, but I can tell you that just like me, she believes that the Wolverines will win it all. However, the Tierra Santa Property Golf League, we have a group going, and so we got a bunch of guys here. We got somebody who believes in Alabama. We've got somebody who's an Indiana fan, so a bit of a heartache for him, especially today, actually.
Yeah, they fired their coach.
We've got a good group going, good conversation going without it. And I think that now, I'm going to fill this out, and I'm going to laminate it, and I'm just going to staple it to my front door, so they can all drive by and they can see and they can know that this is the winning ticket right here.
Yeah, and that might be it. Staple it to the front door, get some magnets, put it up on the fridge, fill it out, put it on your dad's fridge. That's why you need 2 copies. So, it's probably been a while since your dad had little RJ artwork on the refrigerator. So, mom and dad could be proud. And again, get Cammy to fill one out. It's a good way to, what's the one chore that you have at the house that's your responsibility that you don't like? Is it the trash? Is it the recycles, the dishes? And you wager that for a month, and it's the easy win to get out of chores for a month.
What's the chore you don't like? Because it sounds like there's a number.
Trash
is an easy chore. I don't know how people hate. It's literally just moving something. The dishes take so much longer.
Well, see, and you don't use your dishwasher for whatever reason.
Actually, that has changed.
Oh, kind of like a paper bracket. You realize there are some things in this life that are meant to make life easy.
Yeah. So, we use the dishwasher more often now. But so even then, but if you had to hand wash some things, that is far more arduous than the only thing that sucks about the trash is having a dog. Is no matter how much I try to calm him down, it is the most obnoxious moment of the day. He thinks that I'm never coming back when I take out the trash.
Yeah, trash is up there for me because part of the trash responsibilities at the Minix household is also the pooper scooper responsibilities that you get. So to me, it's more about that. If I just have to take the thing from the backyard to the street, that's not hard. It's all right. It's trash day. The night before trash day, it's shoveling dog crap. That's a part of the chore that I'm not necessarily a fan of.
Sounds like the warden runs a pretty tight ship around the Minix compound.
Yes, she does. It is the Blitz 1250 ESPN San Antonio 94.5 FM at ESPNSA.com. Spurs play Detroit tonight, 6:30 is game night San Antonio. Jill Jelnick from Sports Tonight in Yolo, Texas will join us. But we'll talk about that crappy game last night in Philadelphia when we come back here on the Blitz. Let me tell you about Alamo water softeners. Following the winter storm and freeze, lots of people had 2 questions about their water. Is it safe to drink? And if you have a water softener, do you need a water filter? And, Alamo Water Softeners recommends both a water softener and a filtration system. Call them today, and they'll come out to your house and give you a free analysis. Alamo Water Softeners will come test your water for free and, of course, give you the free estimate. Water softeners take the hardness and minerals out of water, but there are some chemicals and contaminants that it can't remove that a filtration system will. Now, I can tell you firsthand, I've had a water softener from Alamo Water Softeners for about a decade. Wouldn't live without one, and they're a great local company owned by the Townsends. They have a great product and even better service. On the Nextdoor app, Alamo Water Softeners was voted a 2020 neighborhood favorite. Alamo Water Softeners is the best value for the highest quality water treatment. Discover the Alamo Water Softeners difference. Start on their website, alamowatersofteners.com. That's alamowatersofteners.com.
Game Nights The Blitz focuses on your silver and black in depth for 30 minutes. Game Night San Antonio, brought to you by the Mellow Mushroom.
This is Matt Bonner.
Spend your game nights with us. 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM.
Hey y'all, I'm Grant Pinkerton of Pinkerton's Barbecue in downtown San Antonio. We only smoke prime meats with a blend of post oak and mesquite. Come see us for some of those giant beef ribs, tender brisket, and a cold big red. We have a Texas-sized bar, great selection of bourbon, and tons of local beers. I love sports, so we have plenty of screens to watch them on. We're open Wednesday through Sunday for lunch and dinner or until we sell out. Come early, come hungry, and stay late.
Have you wanted to speak a new language, but thought it would be too difficult? Then try Babbel. Babbel starts by teaching you words and phrases that gradually get more complex. Soon, you're practicing short conversations. So in 15 minutes a day, you'll be speaking a new language in a few weeks. Babbel is built around real life. It teaches you practical conversations that you will actually use. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to babbel.com today. That's BABBEL.com.
You know Diamonds Direct always has the best selection of precious diamonds. But right now, in the aftermath of 2020's challenges, it's better than ever before. With all the disruptions last year, Diamonds Direct stayed strong and aggressive, working with diamond cutters around the world, finding exceptional values and taking advantage of unique opportunities. The result? A spectacular selection of new, rare, precious diamonds, all shapes, all sizes, from a half carat to 20 carats, and all certified by the GIA. And offered at prices you never thought possible. So make plans now to visit our showroom and see for yourself this expanded selection. Let our expert associate show you multiple choices in the size and shape diamond you're interested in, so you can make the most informed decision with zero pressure. And take comfort in the fact that at Diamonds Direct, whatever happens in the world, we never let anything stop us from our mission to get you the diamond of your dreams. Diamonds Direct, official jeweler of the Dallas Cowboys at the shops at La Cantera.
Making Moves is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs.
In 2003, it was rare for freshmen to carry a college basketball team. Never mind two of them. But for Syracuse, Carmelo Anthony and Terry McNamara did just that, all the way to a national championship. Anthony led the team in scoring and rebounds, while McNamara led the team in assists and was third in scoring. In the national championship game against Kansas, Carmelo was the game's leading scorer with 20, and McNamara added 18.
Build your winning team today. Go to linkedin.com/sports.
March is the biggest month in college basketball, where teams across the country test their talent in the hopes of winning it all. For finding talent that can help your team win it all, there's LinkedIn Jobs. Post a job with targeted screening questions, and LinkedIn will quickly get your role in front of qualified candidates. Manage job posts and contact candidates from a single view, as functions are streamlined onto one simple screen. Post a job for free at linkedin.com/sports. That's linkedin.com/sports. Terms and conditions apply.
It is the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, ESPNSA.com. If you're listening online, maybe you're watching on the YouTube channel or Facebook Live. Either way, appreciate you tuning in. RJ Ochoa in for Rob Thompson. I'm Jason Minix. Till 7 o'clock tonight, and it will still be daylight when we get done at 7 o'clock tonight. Plenty of time for RJ to roll over to the driving range at the golf course he lives on, because you can do that now. Go for a walk after the show and fire up the pit and make some great fajitas. Whatever it is, we got more daylight. I love this time of year. I don't understand the people that bitch about this time of year in the change. You lost an hour of sleep you didn't know you had.
I saw you getting into it, and I say that lightly, of course, with one. Let's just be honest. The greatest football player the city of San Antonio has ever seen, the homecoming king himself, David Chancellor.
Well, maybe the second greatest quarterback ever at Lee High School. And again, I mean, you look. I mean, I get it if as a guy that did a morning show for 8 years and 4 a.m. rolls around. Yeah, that first Monday, it kind of sucks. I got into a little bit yesterday, too, with one Matty Sky who was tweeting about how much he hated it in the middle of the day. Like, why? You know what I mean? It's unless you work on Sunday, it ain't that big of a deal. And it should be like this all the time. Now, as somebody that gets done with work every day at 7, it's nice to get off work and have an hour, and in the middle of the summer, 2 hours of daylight. I appreciate that. I wish this would be the permanent change. Some interesting news about the NCAA women's tournament. The entire tournament will be played here in San Antonio. The bracket will be announced and completed for the women's tournament tonight. Their selection Monday. But UConn, one of the favorites, their coach Gino Aramama has tested positive. He will not be here. It tested positive for COVID. Is that right, Pledge? You were telling me during the break. What's the story for Gino?
Yeah, according to ESPN, breaking news that UConn women's basketball coach Gino Auriemma has tested positive for COVID-19 and will miss the team's first NCAA tournament game.
At the very least, the first one. So hope he is well.
The report adds that contact tracing noted that he did not have close contact with any other team member, for what it's worth.
Yeah,
Can rejoin the team on the 24th.
All right. Well, we'll see. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. And we've seen with the Spurs what positive tests and tracing can do to a squad. And you know what? It's something both in the men's and women's tournament that we're going to be watching. It's not only the positives, but also the tracing part of it. I'm not sure how a coach cannot have close contact with the team, but if that's what they're telling us, that's what they're telling us. Now, the Spurs, they played socially distanced defense last night against the Philadelphia 76ers. They just flat out got their ass kicked. And stealing the words right from DeJounte, this is what's so frustrating about this Spurs team. Against Orlando, they look so good, especially in the second half on Saturday night. Just blow them out the water. Now, granted, Orlando is a struggling team, missing a bunch of players, but we saw what the Spurs could do. Then they turn around and just get completely run off the court against Philadelphia. Now, granted, Philadelphia is a good basketball team, but that third quarter last night, that was awful. Pop rested everybody in the fourth quarter because they got to turn around and play Detroit tonight. So you saved the legs in a game that you had no chance of coming back in last night against Philadelphia. But I really don't understand how one night they could look so good and the next game just look so bad.
I mean, I think we're victims of the hype is not the right word, but you have fallen in love. Right. Last week when we were sitting here talking, we said, hey, nobody expected this. Right. We expected kind of fringe playoff team here, on the bubble, no pun intended. And so, I mean, you fell into the trap. That's what happened. You fell into the trap. You let your expectations get away from you. And so now getting blown out. And the other thing is this isn't a consistent thing, but it happens. It's a weird moment. Sometimes weird moments happen.
Well, and again, I mean, you look at this road trip, and we knew it was going to be a tough one, but their next 3 games are winnable games. And
right.
If you were going to bet last night, you weren't going to bet the Spurs beat Philadelphia. You don't expect them to have the worst loss in the history of Greg Popovich, but and what was it? Was it literally the worst third quarter of his career, worst points allowed? I mean, it was just awful. But at the same time, with Detroit, Chicago, and Cleveland coming up, they got a chance to stack some wins, and they need to get some wins while they're still trying to figure out what they're going to do with LaMarcus Aldridge. And, going into the game, a lot of talking points. Could LaMarcus end up in Philadelphia with some of the injuries that they have? They certainly didn't look like they needed LaMarcus last night, but they still have to figure out what they're going to do with LaMarcus. But what I do find interesting on the trade front, there is a DeMar DeRozan I don't know, rumor, whatever you want to call it, report. Chris Haynes at Yahoo says, while the Spurs are not actively engaged in seeking a trade for DeMar, that could change if they can't work out an in-season extension leading up to the trade deadline, which echoes what I've been saying for a while. If DeMar does not want to be here and you don't think that the Spurs can re-sign DeMar, DeMar's going to re-sign, then I say you've got to try to move him at the deadline and get something in return. You can't let him become a free agent at the end of the year and walk for nothing. But Chris Haynes said currently there is no dialogue on an extension. We got about 10 days. Get on the phone. Let's figure out what it's going to take for DeMar DeRozan, because to me, that is the key to everything you're doing moving forward. If DeMar's gone, then you're probably less likely to trade a Derek White or a DeJounte Murray. If he's going to be here, then maybe you can include Derek White or a Murray in some of the trade talks that you're having.
See, and I think that I think it's an obvious solution to, like, I wouldn't even call it an unfortunate predicament, right? Like, it's time to, S or get off the pot, right? Like you have to make that decision. And like, I get that there's this, not strange, but there's a unique emotional connection to DeMar. And I don't know if it's this sense of, look, we know that your career went on a very, different twist of turns in coming here. So I could see some sort of like guilt in wanting to move on or allowing yourself to move on. But it's time. Like, you've got to sever that emotional connection because everything else depends around that move, to your point. But if you're going to keep DeMar, you have to do something else. If you're not, to your main point, you got to get something. Like, you either get DeMar or you get something for him. Any other solution is awful.
It's the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, ESPNSA.com. We'll talk brackets with our own self-proclaimed bracketologist, Jack Thompson, from the Saturday Morning Hangover and the Post Up podcast here on ESPNSA. Jack will join us next here on the Blitz. Jason Minix here for my friends over at BSG, the company that brings you the best at home security and smart home technology. At BSG, they have a water valve controller that could save you thousands if you ever have a water leak. And a lot of you experienced a water leak during the freeze. You had pipes break, or at the very least, somebody who did have pipes break, but you don't have to have a hard freeze for a pipe to bust and flood your house. It happens every day. The smart valve from BSG goes on your main water line. If it detects any leaks, it will notify you and then turn off your water. The smart valve shuts down leaks before they turn into floods. You can stay ahead of water waste and high bills, monitor water usage and pipes right from your phone. Talk about smart home technology from a company you can trust, and then you get that peace of mind. Your home is protected when you're not home, especially, you have a leak. If you're at work or on vacation, you get that notification on your phone that your water's been shut down by your smart valve leak. It could save you thousands. BSG of Texas, making smart home automation simple. Call 210-877-1222, 877-1222, or learn more at bsgtexas.com/radio. Again, bsgtexas.com/radio.
What's better than winning some free cash? We're giving away $1 million to anyone who can pick a perfect bracket. The ESPN San Antonio Basketball Mayhem, brought to you by Pinkerton's Barbecue. Details and registration at ESPNSA.com.
Did you wake up this morning feeling good? I did. I've been a part of the Institute for Functional Health for the last 18 months or so, and it's literally the best decision I've ever made. Down nearly 40 pounds now, walked in there 300, and it's still on my way down. This is a lifestyle change, but I tell you what, the medical benefits have been extraordinary, but just my general way of life, my goodness, no more aching joints. I'm sleeping all night long. My food, man, I enjoy the food I'm eating. I've learned how to eat and what to eat from Dr. Torres, because what he did is he put together a program only and specifically for me, not off the rack for others. This was made for me, using my biology, using my genetics, using everything involved to help me live a healthier lifestyle. And certainly losing weight has been a great part of that. I want you to call Dr. Torres today, 210-468-1891. Speak with him. It's a free consultation. You'll find out what I know. Check out their website, iffhealth.com. Call the Institute for Functional Health. Get on a road to wellness. Get feeling better, losing weight under the supervision of a medical professional. Call the IFH today. Talk to Dr. Torres. I'm sure you'll thank me later.
Thomas J. Henry has been named one of the best places to work in the nation for 2020 by Glassdoor. Start your career today at tjhlaw.com. That's tjhlaw.com. San Antonio, Texas.
Switch to T-Mobile for Business and get up to 90 days of service free via virtual rebate on your business plan. You get a great deal, the largest 5G network, and first-class benefits like Microsoft 365 on us. It's better for business and only with T-Mobile for Business. Limited time offer. Stop in-store for details. Plus taxes and fees for some plans. Virtual Express MasterCard within 8 weeks of receipt of valid submission. Complete port within 60 days. See T-Mobile.com for 5G devices, coverage, and plan details.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Message and data rates may apply.
Nice work, man. You're a beast.
Thanks, man. Taking Nugenix makes a huge difference for me.
Nugenix?
Yeah, the patented key ingredient is testofen, which helps boost free testosterone levels.
Hey, are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, and by the way, she'll like it too. Text CAR to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Text CAR to 42424 and we'll include a bottle of new Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, absolutely free. Text CAR to 42424.
It's time for some straight talk. Look, we all know the sound. It happens. Your phone. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless's new Platinum Unlimited plan includes phone protection that covers those kinds of mishaps. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus more features, like 20 gigs of hotspot and 100 gigs of cloud storage, all on the best networks. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
See mobile protect terms and conditions at asurion.com/straight talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Good morning, Private. Good morning, I mean, seriously, what a pleasant morning. The sun is shining and the birds are chirping. You seem to be in a good mood today. Astute observation.
He's probably happy because he found out Honey Nut Cheerios can help lower cholesterol as part of a heart-healthy diet.
They're even shaped like hearts. So, in lieu of the obstacle course today, I'll propose a nice meditative nature walk. Does that sound delightful to everyone? Yes, Sergeant!
Happy Heart Shapes are back for a limited time. Learn more about Honey Nut Cheerios by picking up a box at your local store.
Here's the good news. Even with high unemployment, there's still a need for hundreds of thousands of cybersecurity professionals in the U.S. right now. And My Computer Career is training people to help meet the demand. No IT experience? No problem. Take the free career evaluation today at mycomputercareer.edu. Start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. Grants covering up to 53% of the cost are available to those who qualify. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
The brackets are out. Got about 3 more days to get them all filled out. It is the Blitz 1250 ESPN San Antonio 94.5 FM, ESPNSA.com. Need some help filling out your bracket. That's why we bring in Jack Thompson, self-proclaimed bracketologist, co-host of the Saturday Morning Hangover and the Post-Up podcast here on ESPN San Antonio. RJ Ochoa in for Rob Thompson. I'm Jason Minnick. So for a guy like you yesterday, man, game goes to overtime, so that means the selection show was delayed. Was that just horrible for you?
No, free basketball is never horrible. You always want overtime.
Well, unless you got some money going one way or the other. All right, so when the bracket comes out, first off, the bracket comes out, what was the one thing that you went, holy crap, I can't believe the selection committee did this?
I mean, I think they gave Gonzaga and Baylor very easy roads to the final. For the best 2 teams outright all season, they have the easiest roads to get to the championship.
Who's easier, the West or the South? I look at the West and go, yeah, they did a solid for Mark Few, that's for sure.
Yeah, I would say the West too. It's a good field though. There's a lot of good matchups. Definitely a lot of potential upsets out there.
What's your favorite round of 32 matchup that is forecasted, that is absolutely going to happen? Because watching it myself, I feel like it might be Michigan LSU.
Well, I have LSU losing to St. Bonaventure, so I think Michigan could be pushed by the Bonnies. I think UT is going to have a really tough second game against Michigan State or LSU. And
now wait a minute, Mr. Aggie. Hold up now. Now wait a minute. Now, Texas, give them the respect. The Big 12 tournament champions.
I have them beat. I have them beat. But that's a tough matchup. Michigan State at an 11, that's tough. And no one gave UCLA their due all year.
No, but I mean, what about BYU? I mean, you think BYU is just going to be out that fast? I mean, because doesn't Michigan State UCLA winner have to play BYU? If I'm reading my bracket on my little paper, do you print yours out, by the way, or do you do it all online? Because Texas,
I haven't printed any out yet, but I do both. I like to have a hard copy.
Yeah, see, RJ, he was giving me crap earlier for printing it out. I print out 2 copies. I think Texas makes a long run. And was it Clark Kellogg yesterday on the CBS show had Texas in the Final Four? I think that might be stretching it, but a long run for sure for the Longhorns. But don't be ready to just first one out of your mouth. Absolutely. Texas is done because I know you well enough.
Hey, I have them beating them. I have them winning that game. But Michigan State or UCLA in the second round is tough.
Sure.
They're big, and Texas is big. So,
what's the one Texas team not named Baylor that you think goes the farthest? Is it UT or Houston?
Probably UT. Houston is good, though. They've got 2 really good guards, and they rebound the ball at a great rate, and they just control the pace. So they're tough out in a tournament like this.
What's the pick that you hated making the most? Like, what are you on the edge about right now? Because when you make the physical picks on the physical copy, that's a commitment. So, like, which is the one that you were torn up the most about?
I think San Diego State could go really far. They're a really elite defensive team, top 10 in the nation. And I think that they could make it past I don't have it pulled up.
So this is why you print one out, so it's quickly easy. You got to go Control F and search it, and you'll be able to find that one. There's always the 12-5 matchup. It seems every year the 12-5 you're going to find an upset. Of the 4 12-5s, which is the one that you think is most likely to happen in a 12-5 upset?
I would probably lean Georgetown, Colorado, because of how hot Georgetown has been over the past week. I mean, they were 12-12 heading into their conference tournament, and then they lit on fire and won the whole thing. So they weren't even supposed to be here. So I think a team like that is really dangerous.
Does the delay slow down any of that momentum for you?
I don't really think so. That's an extreme high that these guys are coming off of. They were picked last in their conference, and to come out and win the whole thing and to steal a bid is a big time.
So, Jack, I'm curious because you clearly believe either off your own beliefs or the paths that they were given in Gonzaga and Baylor. Which one seed is the biggest fraud in your mind?
Which one seed is the biggest fraud? That's tough. I would probably lean Michigan because their best player is hurt. Isaiah Livers has a stress fracture in his foot. He's out indefinitely. He's their best NBA prospect. So if they don't have him, it's going to be tough. And I think the Bonnies will push them.
You look.
How far do you have them going? By the way, like say they do get past Michigan. How far can the Bonnies go?
Well, I don't have them getting past Michigan. I think
that's right.
A really good game. But I think
RJ has Michigan winning it all.
In the next round.
How ridiculous is RJ Ochoa's prediction that Michigan wins the whole thing?
Without Isaiah Livers, there's no way.
Wow. That's fine.
No way without Isaiah Livers.
So, Jack, pro tip: when we get off the air, text them, put some real money on it. Just between you two, because that's taking
Livers. They ain't making it.
Taking money from a baby. I was watching. You watch far more college basketball than I do, than RJ does, than James Pledger does put together. I'm surprised to see how many people have Colgate as a first round upset winner over Arkansas, which is a pretty good basketball team. I haven't seen Colgate play all year, I'm not going to lie, but every show that I've watched from last night into today, people that are looking for upsets, if you want to go the upset route, put your money on Colgate. And I don't even know where Colgate is. Why Colgate? What are they doing in the college basketball world?
Colgate is a very good team. Their best player is actually from San Antonio, Jordan Burns. They're an elite shooting team. You can't leave them open. But Arkansas is a 3 seed for a reason. They have one of the best freshmen in the nation, Moses Moody, 6'5". Their point guard is 6'6", Justin Smith. And they have great defenders. I think 5 or 6 of them average a steal a game. Colgate is not going to beat them. I think Arkansas could make a deep run.
Arkansas could make a deep run. Another upset that I keep reading about for my team I know nothing about is Liberty over Oklahoma State in the first round. What does Liberty do?
I don't know much about Liberty, but I know a lot about Cade Cunningham.
Yeah.
And there ain't no way Liberty beating that man.
Dude, Cade Cunningham.
I watched him get 40 against an elite Big 12 team.
Cade Cunningham is so good, and 2 games this past weekend, and I was just glad he struggled against the Longhorns. I mean, he, had the fear of Bevo in there, but I mean, what that kid could by himself get Oklahoma State on a pretty good run, but he needs some help. It can't just be let's wait for Cade Cunningham to get hot.
Yeah, you're right about that, and he has help. There's another guard, Avery Anderson, who has been really emerging as a number 2 for that team. But you say Cade Cunningham struggled against UT. I think he had 30.
Well, yeah, but most of that was in the second half, man. It was in the first half. What do you have, 3 or 1-3 or something?
That tends to happen with him.
I mean, he's got to play consistent 40 minutes. He can't just be good for a half. Jack Thompson joining us here on ESPN San Antonio. You hear him just about every Saturday morning, unless he's off skiing on the Saturday morning hangover from 9 to 11. You got the post up with Brandon Medina. 7 Texas schools in the tournament, but in reality, we know some are just going to be one and done. But you look at a team like Texas Tech, and they've got some players too. But that first round matchup against Utah State,
that matchup for them.
Oh, I do too, and I figure because you're an Aggie, you'll probably take Utah State there. But I mean, you got Houston is legit. Although I was surprised they ended up as a 2 seed. Texas, obviously, Baylor. Outside of those 3 of the other 4 Texas teams, is it Texas Tech who makes a long run, or are they just going to be in that group that's done the first weekend?
Yeah, I have Texas Tech losing first weekend to Utah State. It's not for the fact that I'm an Aggie. It's for the fact that Utah State's best player is a 7'1" center that averages 17 points and 10 boards. And Texas Tech center is about 6'6". So it's going to be a rough out.
And then, for Chris Beard, already rumors to him going to Indiana. So we'll see. But as the home of Texas Tech basketball, you're saying that they'll only interrupt the Blitz once, and that's going to be what, Friday afternoon?
Yeah, I know my co-host for the post, Brandon Medina, is probably hating me hearing this, but I don't think Tech's going to make it out of weekend 1.
I mean, as a former saddle tramp that Brandon Medina was, he understands the disappointment that comes with supporting Texas Tech athletics.
Yeah, we have a weekly pick'em, and he's got several L's because of Tech.
It makes sense. Jack, always appreciate the insight. It's going to be a fun week. I'm sure we'll have you on Thursday and Friday as we break down the games as they get going and off into next week. Again, the post up, you and Brandon Medina, of course, the Saturday morning hangover with you and Pledge every Saturday morning. Appreciate the time today, man. Thanks for jumping on. Jack Thompson here on ESPN San Antonio. Again, our self-proclaimed bracketologist, that guy watches more college basketball, actually records games and watches them later, even though he knows the finals. I could never understand that. I can't do it that way. Speaking of college basketball, Indiana fires their coach today. The Hoosiers, they're hosting the whole thing and can't even get in. But Big 12 coaches from the state of Texas rumored for that job. We'll get into that as we continue here on the Blitz. If you're looking for authentic sausage, the kind you can find in butcher shops back in the old days, then Kielbasa smoked sausage is what you've been looking for. You see, at Kielbasa, they make their legendary smoked sausage in small 150-pound batches with only fresh, high-quality ingredients, never frozen meat. They don't add fillers or chemicals that you can't pronounce. Then it is smoked over real hardwood, just the way Rufus Kielbasa did back in 1949. At Kielbasa, they're on a mission to reintroduce you to authentic smoked meats, and they do have some new smoked chicken sausage that's available for a limited time right now at their company store down there on Brazos Street, 1325 South Brazos Street, or online at kielbasa.com. They've got a chicken, a hatch chili and cheddar, and a roasted garlic. They are fantastic. So if you're looking for some chicken sausage, kielbasa.com or that company store down on South Brazos Street, because you know when you buy Kielbasa brand sausage, you're getting the best, most authentic smoked sausage you will ever eat. If it's not, call Michael Kielbasa. He'll give you your money back. He puts his phone number on the back of every bag sold him. You're going to fire up the grill. Get some Kielbasa today.
Sundays are for the grill. The Sunday Sports Grill, 11 in the morning to 1. Chop it up and grill with former and current Rock the Mic champs Michael Jimenez and Quinn Hudson. The Sunday Sports Grill, 11 to 1 every Sunday.
Got chronic joint pain, not having success with steroids, but trying to avoid surgery? Well, thankfully, there's a better way, and it's now available in our area from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics, now here in Hollywood Park and Westover Hills. Hey, James Pledger here. I'm talking about new therapies, advanced, all-natural, regenerative cell treatments that not only give you relief, but speed up the process of healing and repair. Popular in Europe for years, now they're here. If you've got pain in your knees, shoulder, lower back, hips, or pain from arthritis, or even pain from an old injury, you need to learn more about these potent new regenerative solutions. Call now for a free consultation. QC Kinetics, 210-571-0318. These remarkable new treatments increase mobility, decrease pain, and restore tissue. They actually allow your body to heal itself. Call now. Regenerative medicine is here. Don't wait. Call today. QC Kinetics in Hollywood Park and Westover Hills. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318.
It's Mattress Firm's semi-annual sale, where you can save up to $300 on our top-rated brands like Sealy and Sleepy's. Plus, get a free adjustable base when you spend $6.99 on Sealy. Or buy Tempur-Pedic and get a $300 instant gift good towards sleep accessories. Shop Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, and more with our sleep experts today to find your best sleep. Only at Mattress Firm. Offer valid with qualifying purchase. Restrictions apply. Valid at participating locations only. For offer details, visit mattressfirm.com/sale.
There's nothing worse than overhype, so we won't go overboard telling you how Taco Bell's Quesalupa is back with its cheese-stuffed shell. We'll skip the Quesalupa air shows and making a statue in honor of how there's cheese in every bite. Marvelous. And we won't send one to the moon. Instead, we'll pass on all the fanfare and just tell you Taco Bell's Quesalupa has returned, and we think you'll like it. At participating locations for a limited time.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? If you're looking for your engine to run a little smoother, some fuel system cleaner could help. Right now, we have buy one, get one free on Chevron Techron Complete Fuel System Cleaner. Plus, AutoZone Rewards members get a $1 bonus reward. Not a member? Don't worry. Joining is easy, and you can even earn an extra $5 bonus reward when you join with a valid email. Getting your job done just got easier. Restrictions apply. See terms at AutoZone.com/rewards.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Allstate now has deeper savings, and deeper savings require deep thoughts and a deep voice, like mine. Save for being a new customer. Save more for adding DriveWise, and save even more for driving safely. Visit allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. As someone once said, saving today is money tomorrow. That's deep.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. DriveWise is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
It is the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, ESPNSA.com. I'm Jason Minix. Rob Thompson on vacation, although scheduled to be back tomorrow. but there's still plenty of time for him to throw out his back or develop a toothache. Those are the two most common from Rob Thompson. But we'll get into that. RJ from bloggingtheboys.com. There is some Cowboys news is the legal tampering period has begun. Noah Brown back on a 1-year deal. We'll get into the Cowboys and NFL in a couple of minutes, but let's stay on college basketball for a minute. And of course, good reminder to go to ESPNSA.com for our College Basketball Mayhem Bracket Challenge. This got way too long of a name. Brought to you by our friends over at Pinkerton's Barbecue. The best bracket will get a $100 gift card to Pinkerton's Barbecue. If you put together a perfect bracket, you could win $1 million. Go to ESPNSA.com, register while you're there. If you grilled over the weekend, post up a picture there. You can end up with a $50 gift card to Tri-County Meat Market. Lots to do at ESPNSA.com. Archie Miller gets fired today from Indiana. No surprise. It's been rumored for a while. Scott Drew's been linked to this from Baylor. I was a little surprised to see Chris Beard at Tech also linked to it. And Brad Stevens, why would he leave the Boston Celtics? Except, things aren't going well for Brad Stevens. But what are the chances that one of the two from the Big 12 actually end up coaching Indiana? And is it still the job that it was when you think back of Indiana basketball and Bobby Knight? It's been a while since they've been back.
I mean, yeah, I don't mean to to totally make this comparison, but if Texas football is still the job to have, then this is still the job to have. Is that not fair?
Well, no, it's actually the analogy I was going to go with.
You're a brilliant man then.
A great job is a great job. Even like Michigan football for that matter.
Right.
There are jobs out there that just people are going to look to. They're institutions. And if you could be the guy that is able to get them back, and I look at Scott Drew, they're a 1 seed. Baylor is a 1 seed this year. They've got a great chance to cut down the nets at the end of this thing. Do you win a national championship and walk though? Do you say, all right, well, I've accomplished everything, the hashtag run it back wouldn't apply to Baylor. But I look at Gonzaga, and granted, I look at the West and say the committee did them a favor. But I don't like teams that are undefeated that, it's a bad analogy, I know, but it's almost like in high school football, third round of the playoffs, team from San Antonio in Valley Week is going to play a 12-0 Harlingen, a 12-0 San Benito that's scoring 50 points a game, and then they come up, they meet the San Antonio school, and boom, they get blown out. Now Gonzaga is far better than that. But I still, their biggest adversity came in the championship game of their conference, the conference tournament. They struggled. But they ended up winning the game. Things go south in a hurry. They're bad. I like Gonzaga, but I'm very nervous about having them all the way through to the title game.
Plus, if we're living in the world of the job is the job, a job, living in not nostalgia, but living in stereotypes. Gonzaga is also like modern day Gonzaga. They'll find a way to bottle this, right? That's who they are. So why would you place any level of faith in them? Of the two, I lean Baylor, just almost not purely out of that, but that is a relevant factor.
Well, I look at Scott Drew, the fact that he's been at Baylor almost 20 years. What is this, year 17? He's obviously very comfortable there, but it's still a football school. Even if the football program isn't doing what it was under Art Briles, basketball is always going to be number 2. Men's basketball actually might be number 3 behind the women's basketball team there in Waco. But it feels like unless Scott Drew wants that challenge, I'd be surprised if he left Baylor after this year. Chris Beard, on the other hand, with what he's been able to do at Texas Tech, of the two, I would think Chris Beard would be the one that would leave sooner rather than later. Or if it was, if you're betting that one of the coaches from the Big 12 ends up with that Indiana job, I'd actually go Beard at seeing him on the list, although I think Indiana would chase Scott Drew first.
I think that it does have a Matt Rule vibe, right? Which is that's the problem with being Baylor, right? there is a glass ceiling on your potential, like nationally, with that program, and that's just like the reality of it. And the other thing is like we said, like I think this is still an elite job. And to your point, if you're the dude that revives it, cool. And you know why? Because like the bar is so low. You mentioned the Michigan football job. Like, look at Jim Harbaugh. Like, he's still there. You know what I mean? Like, it's very difficult to sink lower. And like, as long as you represent, it's kind of like being a quarterback in the NFL. As long as you represent the idea of perpetual hope to the like blue blood program, they'll keep you around. And it's worth like, and if you fail, then you blame the program. Like, oh, it's too toxic, whatever, blah, blah. I'll go, like the Baylor job, like speaking from an archetype standpoint, will always be there.
Well, and I look at Archie Miller, 4 years, doesn't get to the tournament once. I imagine Indiana is ready to throw a lot of money at whoever it's going to be. Probably more money than Baylor would pony up to try to keep a Scott Drew. Certainly more money than what Scott Drew is getting. I just look at Chris Beard, seeing him on the list. I think he would be bolting for Indiana in a hurry. Also, I do think there is something to when you've been at a private school for as long as Scott Drew has been there, the idea of going back to a public school and some of the scrutiny that you've got to face because it's state and the open records, a little bit different than in a private school, which makes me wonder if that would keep Scott Drew from wanting to go and then have so many more things that are just open to the general public and the media and some of the scrutiny that comes with working at a public school versus a private school, especially if you've been at a private school doing things a certain way for so long, and that was one of the arguments when everything was going on at Baylor with the football program is things weren't readily available because they're a private institution where what was going on wouldn't have been able to go on for as long at a public school that was going on there at Baylor. So something to keep an eye on as we continue. Free agency, boy, the New England Patriots spending big time today. Drew Brees with the stunning announcement of his, not stunning, everybody saw it coming. Now we know why at least he waited as long as he did to announce his retirement. And the Dallas Cowboys making news on the wide receiver front. No, you're not going to get excited about this, but it is news for the Dallas Cowboys that we'll get into as we continue here on the Blitz. Jason Minix here for my friends over at Alamo Water Softeners, a great local company owned and run by the Townsends. They have a great product and even better customer service. On the Nextdoor app, Alamo Water Softeners was voted a 2020 neighborhood favorite. I've had a water softener from Alamo Water Softeners in my home for years. Wouldn't live without one. And when you get a water softener from Alamo Water Softeners, you're instantly going to notice the difference on your dishes coming out of the dishwasher. You'll feel the difference on your skin and hair as you get out of the shower, on your clothes as they come out of the washing machine. And you're going to save money on appliances that have water running through them. An Alamo Water Softener can extend the life of those appliances. Now, after the hard freeze, a lot of people asked if the water was safe, and if you have a water softener, do you need a filter? Well, a water softener does take the hardness and minerals out of the water, but there are some chemicals and contaminants that a water softener won't remove that a filtration system will. Alamo Water Softeners recommends both a water softener and filtration system. You call them, they'll come out and test your water for free, give you a free estimate, and when you're working with Alamo Water Softeners, you're getting the best value for the highest quality water treatment. Discover the Alamo Water Softeners difference. Go to alamowatersofteners.com. That's alamowatersofteners.com.
Pick the perfect bracket in the ESPN San Antonio Basketball Mayhem, brought to you by Pinkerton's Barbecue. And you could win
$1 million.
Details and registration at ESPNSA.com. Even if your bracket isn't perfect, the highest scoring local winner will win a $100 gift certificate to Pinkerton's Barbecue. ESPN San Antonio Basketball Mayhem, brought to you by Pinkerton's Barbecue. 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
It's all about the nose. It's your air filter, the first line of defense against bacteria and viruses. If too many germs get stuck in your nose, guess what? You get sick. That's why it's so important to keep your nose clean, just like washing your hands. Nasal irrigation gets rid of germs by rinsing the nasal cavity, but neti pots are hard to use and, frankly, kind of gross. Now there's a better way to keep your nose clean and help your body protect itself. It's called Navage Nasal Care. Navage uses powered suction to flush out allergens, mucus, bacteria, and viruses. Millions use Navage for fast, all-natural relief from sinus congestion and allergies, and to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier without drugs. Navage is easy to use, affordable, and comes with an absolute guarantee of satisfaction. You wash your hands and brush your teeth every day. Now it's time to start cleaning your nose with Navage. At Navage.com, CVS, Walgreens, Bed Bath, Target, and Rite Aid. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
Progressive presents an interview with your upstairs neighbor.
My name's Barry. I live right above you. I don't host parties. I host after parties. They're like parties, only louder and nobody goes home. You can see right here, I ripped out all the carpeting because it was holding me back, my pogo stick. Man's got a pogo. Oh, I'm a prankster. I'll grease up a soda can and then when somebody grabs it, boom!
Progressive can't save you from your upstairs neighbor, but we can save you money when you bundle renters and auto insurance with us. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Goodyear knows why we all love basketball. It's the sound of the buzzer, the roar of the crowd, the swish of the net. It's the spin on the ball as it's released, the squeaking sneakers before an inbound pass, the timeout that gives us perspective on the moment. We love basketball because we love movement. And so we're asking you, the fans, what moves you? Goodyear, more driven.
Your home for everything Cowboys.
Touchdown, Cowboys!
1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM. KZDC San Antonio. Jason Minix, Rob Thompson, The Blitz.
It is The Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, ESPNSA.com. RJ Ochoa from bloggingtheboys.com and the original Rock the Mic champ. In for Rob Thompson, who's wrapping up his vacation today. Rob scheduled to be back on the air tomorrow. I'm Jason Minix. Pledge is producing as always. Of course, we want you to be a part of the show on the Kia Bossa Bacon phone lines, 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776 on Twitter. Tweet at me at Jason Minix. Tweet at the popping at top right now. He's got it in the koozie. Not sure what he's drinking. RJ Ochoa is on Twitter at RJ Ochoa. Pledge is at I am Pledger. Legal tampering. Officially going. Lots of money being spent, especially by the New England Patriots, although they have a lot of money to spend. As for the Dallas Cowboys, Noah Brown back on a one-year deal. Not really a surprise at all that he would be back.
No, it's not. I don't want to take away from the Noah Brown news, but we have some more notable Cowboys news, I would argue, that just dropped like 90 seconds ago. Do you want me to hit you with it?
Yeah, let's do it.
ESPN San Antonio. Breaking news.
ESPN's Todd Archer reported that after 16 seasons, the LP Ladouceur era in Dallas is over, as the Cowboys are in talking with long snapper Jake Mcquaid of the Rams. Of course, Cowboys special teams coordinator John Fossil worked with the Rams. LP this past season set the record for most NFL games played in by a Canadian-born player, and as Todd Archer notes, would have set the franchise record for most games played as a Cowboy had he played this season. He trails Jason Witten by 2 games. I have a bit of a conspiracy theory to work with here, but this is kind of a stunner. I know people are going to be, it's just a long snapper.
I think it is a big deal because you don't realize how consistent and how important that long snapper is. How many bad snaps does LP have over his career? Is it zero?
Zero.
I mean, and you get that kind of consistency. I mean, you go back to, where it all fell apart for Tony Romo in a playoff game against the Seattle Seahawks. That was a perfect snap. But how many games have you watched at any level of football where in a crucial moment there is a bad snap? You talk about consistency at your position. You wonder the reason why, especially if LP wants to continue his career, which, you play 8 snaps a game. Why wouldn't you? You don't even get hit. But the league minimum must be so high for a 16-year vet. Is that why the Cowboys are looking to move on?
So my conspiracy theory, and I'm curious to hear what you think, Jason. You know the Cowboys very well. You know how Jerry Jones works. And my first question is just a simple yes or no question. Would you agree that there has been a culture of nepotism within the Cowboys organization? Not in a literal sense, but in a favoritism sort of sense.
Yes. To see Jerry part with LP is a bit surprising.
Well, in that respect, did you hear who I said he trails? I mean, in terms of all-time games played as a Cowboy.
I don't know that Jerry Jones would say, well, we got to get rid of him because he can't pass a Jason Witten.
I kind of do.
That's too much of a stretch.
I don't think it's a stretch.
I do, because you can say, well, he's a special teams guy. I mean, if anybody's going to have that record, it would be the special teams guy. I mean, I don't know that anybody would look at that record and say, oh man, he's a better, more durable player than a Jason Witten. You know what I mean? I think, if he were playing something else where he played 50 snaps a game, maybe, but I don't necessarily know that it has anything to do with Witten's record. I think it has more to do with John Fossil and Greg Zuerlein wanting a guy that they're familiar with and has apparently convinced them. And then it's going to come down to money. What is the veteran minimum salary for a 16-year vet versus whoever they're looking at replacing them with? You know what I mean? I wonder how much that has to do with it, unless LP has decided he is ending his career with the Cowboys and just hasn't announced anything. I mean, the guy is 40. I mean, he did outlast Drew Brees by a day.
So my conspiracy theory only works if LP plays this season. Obviously, we both agree to that. I don't know. And this is a weird question, but like, does he belong in the Ring of Honor? I mean,
No. No.
Dude, come on. He's one of the greatest. He is the last player, by the way, who played at Texas Stadium. With his departure, the Cowboys no longer have any players on their team who played at Texas Stadium.
And you know what? That's not a bad thing, because that was so long ago. And I remember being at that last game at Texas Stadium and watching Baltimore just run the Cowboys out of the building. And if LP would have come out of the building to watch the ceremony, Ebenezer Ekubun, I believe, was the only player that came out and watched the ceremony. LP didn't. It was cold. It was miserable. It was a nasty day. The Cowboys lost that game. And yeah, no, I don't think he's Ring of Honor worthy. I mean, he's been a great employee.
Dude.
He's been a great employee. Ring of Honor? No.
Okay, so let me say this. Let me get back to the important question. If the Cowboys are moving on without him retiring, because this is not like, there are players that like get to play longer than they're maybe worth. Like Drew Brees is a great example, right? Like shouldn't have really been playing last year, but because of who he is, Saints can't say no. So to that point, if LP plays elsewhere, I mean, the veteran minimum for him is, I mean, we're talking like $1 million here. And so, I mean, they're like, what they're saving is fractional. So like if you want to save a fractional value and you're booting like an all-time good guy out the door, that's a really bad look in my mind.
It is, but again, we're talking about a long snapper. You talk about the $1 million salary. I'll compare what LP was doing to, say, Matt Bonner the last couple years with the San Antonio Spurs. The only guy that was a part of the 2007 championship team and the 2014 championship team. You know, at $1 million a year, Matt Bonner was still very much worth it until they had to move on, right? I wonder if LP is in that same category. I wonder if he has said, I think I'm done. But also, as you mentioned, with Fossil, who's got a year working with them, trying to reunite with somebody that they're familiar with. I don't know. I mean, what do you do differently as a long snapper? I mean, you know where the ball's got to go. I don't know, but the thing, Ring of Honor, no. Good employee, handshake, season tickets for life. Yes, the disrespect, the Ring of Honor. I mean, most people, including myself, don't even know how to properly say the dude's last name.
It's Ladouceur, by the way. I just, again, the wording of Todd Archer's report is the club is moving in a different direction. Excuse me, but the important thing also at the end here is here we go here. Sorry, there's some news happening. Mcquaid, who is the Cowboys have agreed to terms on a 1-year contract with Rams long snapper Jake Mcquaid. He is apparently planning to sign his deal Wednesday, according to the Dallas Morning News. Not only is he reuniting with John Fossil, and this obviously makes sense, but he is reuniting with Greg Zuerlein. So if Greg Zuerlein, who produces points for you, prefers the snap of Jake McQuaid's ball, I can get on board with that.
And again, I mean, that could be a possibility. Also, when I read the way Archer wrote that, the era is over. Now they're talking to this. Almost seems like, he sent in the email saying, hey, I think I'm done. You might want to look at somebody. That certainly is a possibility. He didn't get cut first. He didn't. You see what I mean? There wasn't. And again, if he continues his career elsewhere, that is out the window. But if you're Greg Zuerlein, and you're Jerry Jones and Mike McCarthy, who probably doesn't know how to say LP's last name either, because we're talking about the long snapper. And the fact that he never messes up is why none of us know who he is. 16 years with the Cowboys, and, he's the one guy that could go to any restaurant in Dallas and not get recognized. I mean, there's a beauty of being the long snapper. Unless he bent over, nobody's going to know who this dude is. But I do wonder, I don't think the snapper makes as much difference to the kicker or the punter as, say, the holder would
sure.
to the kicker, which makes me wonder if this wasn't LP's decision.
Man, and if it was, good for him. Michael Gelkin of the Dallas Morning News notes that he turned 40 years old on Sunday. He has a lot of life left in front of him if he wants to move on and do different things. He doesn't know what life is like looking in front of him. Yeah, I mean, that's a great way. Wow. Yeah, you think he can sit at a desk in his long snapping position?
Working from home all year, spending all that time on the computer, maybe he's decided life looking this way is much better. At 40, imagine you spent your entire career bent over. Maybe his back is finally giving out.
I think Pledge had a point. Pledge, do you have a point of respect for LP Ladouceur, one that Jason Minix has not offered?
Yeah, I mean, Ladouceur is one of the better Cowboys in NFL history. He was almost perfect at his job, but you were talking about nepotism earlier, and we've seen nepotism, especially within the Cowboys coaching staff and bringing in people that people are familiar with. And you talk about Zuerlein and Fossil, and maybe they wanted to bring in their own guy to be a part of their unit, their special teams unit.
Oh, and that's possible. Point. I mean, he might be good to fill out the foursome when they're golfing. Maybe he's really good at the barbecue and they want to be around him. But when you're talking about jobs and a legend like LP, I don't think the Cowboys do that. But the Cowboys do, especially with special teams. Let's go back to Dan Bailey. Get rid of guys when it's time to get rid of them. They don't do that at every other position, but they seem to do it at the right time when it comes to special teams players.
Well, that is almost true, except for you noted that LP Ladouceur did outlast Drew Brees, but Chris Jones made it longer on the Cowboys roster than LP Ladouceur, which is not fair.
Well, yeah. I mean, no, he hasn't made it longer on the Cowboys roster. He's just leaving the roster before LP. I mean, LP's got 16 years in. I can't believe we just killed an entire segment talking about the damn long snapper of the Dallas Cowboys, and that you, RJ Ochoa, want to put him in the Ring of Honor. I mean, I'm sure LP would be just happy with season tickets and a parking pass. I mean, I think he was happy to get the season tickets and the parking pass while he was playing. I mean, the guy, and for all you kids out there, I mean, long snapping is an art form that can get you into college and give you a very long NFL career without the post-playing day injuries. I know there's a long snapping coach that I'm on the San Antonio Sports All-Star Selection Committee with, and I've known a couple of kids. There was a kid at Johnson a few years ago. I believe he got his college scholarship to Oregon to be a long snapper. I mean, you can make a great living long snapping. If that's an art you can perfect, that's a skill, but not worthy of Ring of Honor. Are there any special teams only players in anybody's Ring of Honor?
There's a special teamer that won league MVP. I mean, so like if you're above that, then what are you really below?
I'm just thinking. I wonder, like, if when it's all said and done, Justin Tucker and the Baltimore Ravens might, but not the long snapper. I mean, we've got people commenting on the Facebook Live. They don't even know who the guy is. I mean, it's. I mean,
the fact that they don't know who he is a testament to his.
It's a great thing. It's a great thing. Absolutely not worthy of the Ring of Honor. I mean, he's got to get jerseys made for his family at the specialty shop. They're not available at the Jerry World Mall, and everything is available at the Jerry World Mall.
I'm sorry. The Dallas Morning News' Michael Gelkin just tweeted that LP did turn 40 on Saturday. He has planned on playing in 2021, but it won't be with the Cowboys. Nepotism, I say.
Okay, so who cares? I mean, look, I'm sorry he's gone. And the first bad snap, RJ, you're going to tweet now and write your tweet, and you're going to save it in your drafts. You're going to have that thing ready to go. I know you well enough to know that. LP wouldn't have had that bad snap. But not worthy of Ring of Honor. That's for sure.
I mean, you're just a hater.
I'm not a hater, man. I'm just trying to be a realist. On Twitter, at Texas Ranger Fan tweets, and at Jason Menix, Janikowski and Vinatieri will make their teams Ring of Honor. And all right, there's potential for both. But, again, not the long snapper. Now, granted, most people don't do long snapping for 16 years. There's not a special wing. This is where I think every team, and I've said this for a long time about the San Antonio Spurs, because I think there's a lot of guys that have their jerseys retired from the Spurs that probably shouldn't. But there does need to be your Ring of Honor, and then say your plaque of greatness that there you can.
There has to be a Hall of Very Good. There has to be a Hall of Very Good, or else the Hall of Fame means nothing.
That's what I mean. We want to honor some greats, Cowboy legends, but only so many get jerseys retired or get Ring of Honor status. The plaque of greatness, I think LP certainly would get that. The gold watch, the retirement, the season tickets for life, all of that. Check his box, eligible for rehire. He'll be good for the Dallas Cowboys at some point. But I don't know why they've decided to move on. I'm going to guess money over nepotism.
They adore Jason Witten. They let the dude walk back in after the worst announcing season that anyone has ever had and smushed two would-be legitimate tight ends in Blake Jarwin and Dalton Schultz down the depth chart. I mean, if you're telling me it is above them to move on from LP Ladder to preserve Jace, I guarantee you they are miffed that as much as they love Dez, that Witten didn't break Dez's all-time receiving touchdowns record either.
Do you? I mean, and you're trying to sell something. Some people are buying it. I just saw Pledge put up a comment on the Facebook Live. I didn't see who wrote the comment. Fred Caceres. It's all about Jason Witten's record. I don't even know that Jerry's aware that that's about to be broken. I mean, they're totally aware.
We're
circumcising a fly here, RJ. I mean,
what do you mean? Have you seen the media guides they give us every year? They have every record down to the wire. Like there is
that doesn't mean Jerry reads it.
Somebody does.
Do you really think that Jerry would fire a long-time 16-year employee over a record?
Yes, because this is the same team that let Jason Witten waltz back into the locker room after he had already been washed and spent a year out of the game. If that factor wasn't real, we literally lived that. Like that actually happened.
That part I agree with, and there is a love there, but I don't know that it has anything to do with records. I think it was a desperate need for some stability in that locker room, not records. And same thing here with LP. Ben Briseño says if Bill Bain's in the Ring of Honor, LP can't go.
So my last point on this, and we will definitely talk about this, I will make sure of it later on. But earlier today, Jane Slater tweeted that the Cowboys weren't going to be involved in free agency, big spending. They were going to be going after leaders. That's what they want. They want to get their culture right. So how on earth is getting your culture right moving on from the largest point of stability that your franchise has had in the locker room? Generally, not even generally, completely 100% well-liked, well-endorsed player. So, the math doesn't add up to the solution that, they had to move on. He was still playing at an outstanding level. I'm being serious in saying the only logical conclusion that you can draw is that they ordered the code red. We'll call it the code 82, though. This just for the purposes of cuteness.
You're fishing, man. You are fishing big time. And again, you want to stir the pot? Go ahead and stir the pot. It's either finances or, like you said, Fossil and Zerline wanted their guy. Who knows? I think it's more about finances. I'd have to look up. Can you look up what is a 16-year veteran get from a financial standpoint? And if they're able to save a couple $100,000, they're going to save a couple $100,000. This is a byproduct of giving 126 to Dak. I'm kidding, but you know what I'm saying.
His cap number last season was under $1 million. That's it. You're talking about.
And what would it be this year? That's the question. With a lower cap, they're looking at all those salaries on the spreadsheet, trying to save where they can because they know they got to help their defense. And I am surprised that they would cut him, that they would move on if he still wants to play. I really am. But we're talking about $1 million long snapper. We'll be okay. We'll be okay. Love LP. If what? Here we go. Here we go. I mean, we have stretched this. We have stretched a long snapper out yet another 8 minutes into this segment.
If my theory is partly true, it speaks to the brokenness within the Dallas Cowboys. Do you not agree that if they cut him for that reason, which nobody can prove, but if that were to be the case, that would signal an incredible problem within the organization? Would you not agree?
If they cut a long snapper for Jason Witten's record, that would be pretty low, pretty immature, pretty unprofessional, and falls in he's the long snapper, who cares category. It's not like they would have cut, say it was Tyron Smith, who didn't have all the health issues, or Sean Lee, who's another guy that's approaching 10 years with the team that has played a high number of games. If it were one of those guys that you were still getting a lot of production out of, more than 10 snaps a game, then I would say, yeah, that'd be, but we're talking about a long snapper. And the chances of a long snapper screwing up in a game aren't very good. It does happen. And it will happen to the Dallas Cowboys because that's what happens to the Dallas Cowboys, and LP guaranteed against that. But in reality, it's not worth getting this worked up over, other than a really good dude just lost his job today, and that part does suck. But they apparently replaced him with somebody that the special teams guys really want to be around.
Hey, it is what it is. I'll let it go for the next 20 or so minutes.
Oh, good Lord. All right. Well, good. All right. So what were we going to talk about in that segment? I totally forgot. Oh, see, here's why. Because there was a tweet today, and we're going to get into this. Joe Garcia from the Two Shots podcast. There's an article out there about Kawhi Leonard unhappy with the LA Clippers and their lack of consistency. And Joe Garcia put, real talk, would you welcome back Kawhi Leonard to the San Antonio Spurs? Would you? 656 ESPN, 656-3776. If there was something worked out How would you feel if he were back with the San Antonio Spurs? Would you welcome him back? We'll get into that as we continue here on the Blitz. If you need your logo on gear, if you need a mask, you need to get into Sammy's Embroidery Club over there on San Pedro. If you're a business owner, a manager, a club leader, get your logo on masks, on shirts, on jackets, on caps. Sam has over 700 uniform lines to choose from. Nobody has better prices. Sam has all the big name brands and is the only company in Texas with one-day turnaround. No order too small, certainly no order too big. Check the website, samsembroidery.com, or go visit that massive showroom on San Pedro. It's 1 mile inside Loop 410, next to Big Lots across from McDonald's. All items do come with a warranty, and you'll work with Sammy on your project. He's the owner, and he's by his phone right now. Call him 210-824-3900. 824-3900 for Sammy's Embroidery Club.
Show us your meat.
On the grill.
Take a picture and upload it to ESPNSA.com, and you could win a $50 gift card from Tri-County Meat Market if you do. Grilling with the Blitz every Thursday.
Do you feel stuck? Are you living in pain? I'm Rob Thompson here for Arasti. Arasti providers, well, they're all around San Antonio, and they are absolutely perfect at taking care of those soft tissue injuries, those sprains and strains that just slow everybody down. Now, if you're dealing with significant pain, call an Arasti provider and get yourself out. They have found over the years through a variety of studies how quickly they can get guys back in the game. 3.2 visits. If you're dealing with a pulled hamstring or a strained muscle, if you got the frozen shoulder or the bad back or anything in between, call Arasti for a non-invasive treatment that'll get you back in the game in a remarkably short amount of time. I'm not talking about over-the-counter pain medications to dull the pain. I'm talking about the pain literally stopping. When you call an Arasti provider, you're not going to need a referral to do so. Make your appointment, and when you walk in, they're going to accept most insurance policies. When you call an Arasti provider, you know you're going to get taken care of quickly. Arasti all around town. Do not let pain keep you from doing things that you love. Call Arasti today, and I'm sure you'll thank me later.
When it comes to social distancing, if 6 feet is not enough with your spouse, it's probably time to change your status. Call the Divorce Dude with Polling Law PLLC. The Divorce Dude will help you get a fast, affordable, agreed divorce. But if you want to fight, the Divorce Dude will fight for you. DivorceDude.com gives you easy legal options and sticks with you every step of the way. Call George, the Divorce Dude, 210-201-0303. That's 210-201-0303 or DivorceDude.com.
During the winter storm, you either had water pipes break or you know someone who did. Jason Minix here for BSG, the company that brings you the best in home security and smart home technology. At BSG, they have a water valve controller that could save you thousands if you have a water leak. And we all know that you don't have to have a hard freeze for a pipe to bust and flood your house. It happens every day. The smart valve from BSG goes on your main water line, and if it detects any leaks, it will notify you and turn off the water. The smart valve shuts down leaks before they turn into floods. Stay ahead of water waste and high bills. Monitor your water usage and pipes right from your phone. Talk about smart home technology from a company you can trust and the peace of mind your home is protected when you're not home. BSG of Texas, making smart home automation simple. Call 210-877-1222 or learn more at bsgtexas.com/radio.
You know what makes every diamond unique and special are its 4 C's: cut, clarity, color, and carat weight. But do you know what makes Diamonds Direct special and unique? It's our own 4 C's. The first C, concept. Diamonds Direct has revolutionized jewelry shopping by eliminating middleman markups and giving you direct access to the world's finest diamonds straight from the diamond cutters. The second C, choice. Diamonds Direct's multi-million-dollar selection of precious diamonds is unparalleled, and with over 4,000 designer settings to choose from, you are empowered to make a decision that works for your style and taste. The third C, confidence. With a nationwide price guarantee, free lifetime warranty, our unique 110% diamond upgrade policy, and our no-pressure, no-risk environment, you have total peace of mind. And the fourth C, community. Every year, we partner with local charities and nonprofits with significant donations of time, money, and jewelry to make this a better place for everyone. Diamonds Direct, as unique, special, and rare as every diamond in our showcase. Official jeweler of the Dallas Cowboys at the shops at La Cantera.
It's time for some straight talk. Your tax return could look different this year, but you're still going to hear a lot of noise about how to spend it. So when the big carriers tell you to splurge on the latest nonsense, just tune it out. With Straight Talk, you can get a Samsung Galaxy A51 for just $199, Plus, get the $45 unlimited talk, text, and data plan with no contract on America's best networks for up to 50% less. Tune out the nonsense and tune in to Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
With no fees or minimums on checking and savings accounts, banking with Capital One is like the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Kind of like Taylor Swift choosing what to wear.
It's looking kind of chilly out today. I think I'll go with a cardigan.
Yep, even easier than that. And with our top-rated app, you can bank anytime, anywhere, making Capital One an even easier decision. That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
New consumer accounts only. Approval required. Terms apply. Capital One NA member FDIC.
Back here on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM. RJ Ochoa from bloggingtheboys.com. In for Rob Thompson as he continues to go over conspiracy theories over the Cowboys long snapper getting replaced today. He didn't get cut. He was a free agent. LP Ladouceur.
Please respect the GOAT.
I'm Jason Minix, high school class of 91. Always appreciate him for that reason alone. I mean, but in reality, I mean, he's gone. And at some point, maybe he could come back. A lot of players leave a team and eventually come back. There's a certain former number 2 with the Dallas Cowboys that I don't know would be welcome back with open arms. But, RJ.
With the Dallas Cowboys?
Huh?
You said a number 2 with the Dallas Cowboys.
A number 2 with the Spurs. That wouldn't be welcome back. You're wearing a Spurs shirt. You know where I'm going with this. Interesting tweet today that got me thinking, because Kawhi Leonard, the Clippers lack consistency. Kawhi Leonard apparently isn't happy there, which isn't a surprise to anybody. And I'm not saying this is happening. I'm not saying these Spurs should happen. But Joe Garcia on Twitter posed the question, would you welcome back Kawhi to the team? And my response to Joe was, the response to this are going to be interesting, but the answer is yes. I mean, if you get a chance, and obviously if something was getting worked out, that means a lot of things from behind the scenes, that air would have to be cleared for any of this to happen. So as a fan, knowing that if the Spurs were in some sort of rumors, would you want them back? 656 ESPN, 656-3776. Or on Twitter at RJ Ochoa. Tweet at me at Jason Minix. And it pains me to say that, but I mean, we all know people that have gotten divorced and got back together. You get fired, you get hired back, you get cut, traded around, things are bad, then you're able to come back. He's still one of the best basketball players on the planet. If you're able to get him back, you'll bring him back.
No. I mean, I think I'm going to speak for every call that we're going to get here. Is it petty? Absolutely. Am I ashamed of that? Absolutely not. There's an element to the Kawhi thing that I feel like gets glossed over a lot. Besides like the terribleness of it all and the fact that we had to talk about it every day, which is like our own personal beef with the situation. However, I will forever, like I'm talking ever, be upset that he contaminated the final season for Tony and Manu. Like that season dealt with all of that crap. And like, I can't, like, I don't want to say like, I can't forget that or I can't forgive, but like, I don't want to go back to that. That was such a bitter end that I want nothing to do with it.
I 100% agree that things got so ugly so fast and are still, it's a little surprising that all of that happened. That said, you get a chance to get him back. You have to take it. And if he were to come back and we heard that a deal was done, you realize a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, whether it's leaving the uncle in California, as Rob Martin just posted on Facebook Live, some of that stuff would have to be worked out. Just looking at some comments on Twitter, and we want to hear from you, 656-3776 on the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines. Load management, all of that stuff, the injury, the health-wise, but he did help this Spurs team win a championship. There is a trophy here. partly because of Kawhi. He also helped us lose one in 2013, but the redemption was there in 2014. And so for that, there's always a little something because he got that championship with him. But he's still one of the best players out there. If it were at the point where you thought you were getting him back as a fan, I might not rush out to rebuy the jersey, but at the same time, there would be excitement level that you would be getting him back. I would think. I mean, the pettiness says you don't have to buy his jersey, but if he's winning you a championship, it would be nothing but love. 656 ESPN 656-3776. Let's go to those Kia Bossa Bacon phone lines. Joe, you're on the Blitz. What's up, man?
I would agree with you, Jason. I would definitely agree with you, man. If you're thinking with your mind and your stats, bring him back. If you want to win, it's like enemy is my friend, so you bring him back. But emotional, most callers are going to say, well, because of his emotion, because of what left, how he left, nah, we're not going to bring him back. But that's an emotional decision. Definitely not a brain thought out decision. So that's my take on it.
Joe, and I agree. And if he was that unhappy here, and let's just assume this happens while Greg Popovich is still the head coach. What if this is happening in the next year or two when Pop is no longer the head coach? Not that I expect Pop not to be here in 2 years, but what if there's been a change and he decides and the organization decides? But ultimately, it would have to also factor in that Kawhi is willing to get over whatever it is that was causing him the concern while he was here. Again, I think it's far-fetched. So you, who are all panties in a wad over a long snapper for the Cowboys getting replaced, would not welcome back one of the best players in the NBA to make your Spurs team better? You're wearing a Spurs shirt tonight.
I think the point that you meant with your first point is that I am a supreme loyalist, and I'm fine with that. And I actually would even be more opposed to the idea in a post-Pop Spurs world, because that would be like Kawhi winning. Right? I don't want anything to do with Pop. That would be like, you got rid of all the things I hated, so now I'm back. I'm going to do the Spurs my way. Nah, that's not how this works. The Spurs operate the Spurs way, corporate knowledge, and if you don't like that, you can stay out because that's what you got. You got what you wanted. Congratulations. You proved to the NBA and the whole world how great of a talent you are. Nobody can take that away from you. But now you've made your bed. Why should we come save Kawhi because he messed up this whole situation? No, I fully acknowledge that this is not the rationally smart idea from the purpose or towards the purpose of winning basketball games. But and I think that there will be somebody who equates this to LeBron returning to Cleveland. Very different thing. And while he did spurn the city and the fan base and all that, we've already had these conversations. I mean, he did not leave them like that. And he gave his all. Kawhi quit. LeBron didn't. He just left.
Michael, you're on the Blitz. What's going on, man?
You take him back. He's a top 5 talent. Not many top 5 talents are going to come to San Antonio. It's going to be hard to pick him up in free agency. And I think something everybody forgets is his mom still has a house here. So just come on back and live with mama.
She might have a house here. I don't think she's still living here. He bought that ridiculous house down in just north of San Diego, where I think she might be there, but who knows? I'm with you. If you get a top 5 talent, we have seen what it's like post Tim Duncan. And we thought the bridge was built pretty well by the Spurs with LaMarcus and Kawhi, and we know how that didn't work out. And I think probably a similar conversation being had right now in Portland on whether or not you want LaMarcus Aldridge back. He'd be going back to retire as a Blazer if he were to go back there. But there was a lot of hurt feelings. I mean, the nickname for LaMarcus Aldridge in Portland was LaMarsha. There was a lot of anger towards LaMarcus when he left Portland. I think now those fans would welcome him back. Now, I don't want to wait 10 years to get a Kawhi back. I want him back in his prime so we can add trophies. And if you're going to add trophies and he's a part of something that could do that, as much as it would suck, you'd be happy. You would certainly be happy. It is the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, ESPNSA.com. We'll continue with your calls and tweets here on the Blitz. We'll also look at some brackets and the retirement of Drew Brees here on ESPN San Antonio. Following the winter storm, lots of people are asking questions about their water, about the safeness for it to drink, and if you have a water softener, do you need a water filter? Jason Minnick's here for Alamo Water Softeners. At Alamo Water Softeners, they actually recommend both a water softener and a filtration system. Water softeners do take the hardness and minerals out of water, but there's still some chemicals and contaminants that a water softener can't remove that a filtration system will. Alamo Water Softeners is the best value for the highest quality water treatment. I know firsthand. I've had a water softener from Alamo Water Softeners in my home for about a decade, and it is fantastic. And Alamo Water Softeners is a great local company owned by the Townsends. Great product, even better service. In fact, on the Nextdoor app, they were voted a 2020 neighborhood favorite. Discover the Alamo Water Softeners difference. Go to alamowatersofteners.com. That's alamowatersofteners.com.
We get you ready for every single silver and black game on Game Night San Antonio. Brought to you by the Mellow Mushroom.
This is DeJounte Murray.
Get the latest on the silver and black before every game.
It's Game Night San Antonio.
1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM.
Not all pizza places are the same. Mellow Mushroom originated hand-tossed, stone-baked classic Southern pizza. Not in the mood for pizza? Order a calzone, hoagie, sandwich, burger, or a mellow salad and see how care goes into every item on the menu. Take your pick from 24 draft beers and or handcrafted cocktails. And many of the pizzas can be made gluten-free or vegan. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 and Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
My name is Sue. I'm 58 and I work with kindergartners. I've been overweight all my life. Over the years, my weight led to high cholesterol, joint pain, and body aches. Getting up and down with kids was hard. I couldn't sit on the floor without finding something to help me up. Once I got up, hip pain would prevent me from walking normally. I had heard the Institute for Functional Health commercials for a long time and thought, maybe this will help me. I called and met with Dr. Torres and immediately liked him. He was very personable. I can't explain it, but something finally clicked inside me. After being on his program, I lost 45 pounds, and for the first time in my life, I feel comfortable and am proud of myself. My husband and I have been married 25 years, and I'm now thinner than the day we met. My blood work is optimal, I'm active, better at my job, and I feel in control of my health. This has truly changed my life.
Call for your complimentary consultation, 210-468-1891. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health.
O'Reilly. Save big during Power Torque Tools DIY Day sale at O'Reilly Auto Parts with great deals on socket sets, impact wrenches, and more. Right now, get $10 off a 200-piece mechanics tool set, plus earn double O-Rewards points. That means you'll get to your next reward even faster. Visit the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts today or shop O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Listen to this radio station on the radio.com app anytime, anywhere. Listen to more than 300 stations along with more than 3,000 podcasts from your home area or across the U.S., all free.
With the radio.com app.
O'Reilly.
Trust the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts to recommend the best products for your car, like 5 quarts of O'Reilly full synthetic motor oil and a MicroGuard filter, just $26.99. Extend the life of your vehicle and improve performance with a synthetic oil change. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
So many razors. How do you choose? Dollar Shave Club has a premium 6-blade cartridge designed for daily shavers and a 4-blade cartridge that's for less frequent shavers. And they put both blades in one new starter box. So now you can test drive both. If only it was that easy to choose your bracket every March. At least when it comes to razors, they got you. For more info, visit dollarshaveclub.com/gojo. That's dollarshaveclub.com/gojo. And check out DSC at your nearest store. You got questions, we got answers. Welcome to the club.
How's everybody's Monday doing after the time change? I, for one, love this time of year and the extra sunlight. I don't understand all the people complaining about it. All right, maybe you overslept a little bit today. Your body clock is off. What I'm curious of, how do my dogs know? I feed my dogs about 5:30 every afternoon since we started this work from home deal. and my dogs are at my feet, ready to eat, trying to get my attention. Shouldn't their body clocks think it's 4:42? Shouldn't I be able to start feeding them now at 6:30 instead of 5:30? How do my dogs know that we changed the clocks? Why are they bothering me now to go eat?
To be fair, they have constantly been coming to you earlier and earlier daily as we've gotten closer and closer to the daylight savings change.
Not this, or normally it's around 5:15.
Yeah, but they keep pushing that clock up on you a little bit.
But I mean, not this early. I mean, my dog keeps, my deaf one keeps scratching me, and the basset hound is just running around looking at you weird. Like, should I feed them early, or should I?
I think that they probably know, like, based off of the like sunlight. That makes sense.
Well, what would it be sunlight?
Sunlight's different.
These are inside dogs, man. They go out and pee and come right back in. It's not like they spend a lot of time outdoors. But I mean, you don't think
they sit around shadows?
At 5:30, the sunlight is about the same regardless. It's 6 o'clock when it starts to get dark, or you know what I mean? I'm just surprised that they realize it's time to eat. According to the clock, but their body clock, I thought I should be buying an extra hour here.
Well,
yeah,
that sucks.
Dogs are dogs. All right, you've got your bracket. You've probably already filled one out. Most people have. You'll probably change it a couple times over the next 3 days. Go to ESPNSA.com. We've got our Mayhem Bracket Challenge up there. Always brought to you by our friends at Pinkerton's Barbecue. Best bracket at ESPNSA.com wins a $100 gift card to Pinkerton's Barbecue. If you get a perfect bracket, you'll get that $100 gift card to Pinkerton's plus $1 million. So go do that now at ESPNSA.com. We've all printed out our brackets. RJ, have you actually filled one out yet?
I have not filled it out, but I have 2 physical brackets ready to go. I have my digital one ready to go, so I'm ready to devote a lot of energy and a lot of time to this.
When you fill out your bracket, because I used to always fill mine out on Sunday night as soon as it came out, and by Wednesday I had gone and made multiple changes to it as you read all the analysis and all that. And quite honestly, one of the reasons I haven't filled one out yet is I'm waiting to see what COVID is going to do over the next couple of days. I'm waiting to see what kind of dominoes might be there as teams start getting into Indianapolis. And honestly, I need to read about some of these teams. I mean, looking at some of what I saw were upsets with schools that I'm not familiar with. I want to go there, and I really want to put pen to paper. And I've been saying for months, Gonzaga Baylor in the championship game. And when I look at the bracket, I think Baylor's got a good chance of getting to the Final Four, not necessarily the championship game. Gonzaga looks like it's pretty skate to and I'm looking at it going, all right, well, it's never that easy, right? I mean, it's never that easy. Well, Gonzaga trip. I saw Texas as a 3 seed yesterday on the CBS show. Was it Clark Kellogg picked Texas to make it into the Final Four? Not winning it all, but so now I'm thinking, well, all right, let me not think with burnt orange. Let me think realistically here. How far could Texas go? I mean, I'm just not ready yet to completely fill out a bracket and trying to figure out what the upsets are going to be besides COVID.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel weird. We didn't talk to Jack about this, but it does kind of feel like, because nobody watches as much college basketball as Jack Thompson, but it feels like some more like it feels like they made up more schools than usual this year. You know what I mean? Like that volume feels larger. And so it's a weird year. It's an off year, and it does kind of make sense to hold off on the bracket. That's a tactical move by you, Jason.
And again, ESPNSA.com, fill out your bracket, play with us. We know you're going to play in the whole bunch. And, the way ESPN has it and some of the others, one bracket can be in a lot of places. And that's the other question. And I'll ask you, RJ, but, tweet at me at Jason Minix, tweet at RJ at RJ Ochoa. Do you do one bracket and keep the same bracket in all the different places you put your bracket, or do you fill out multiple brackets? And if you do that, do you have one that you say, this is my real bracket, and then this is my my other bracket. I'm a one bracket guy. Whatever I have in one place is the same in all of them.
Yeah, I think if you want to participate in different pools, different sites, different whatever, you can do that, right? Like you can belong to ultimately different groups, but you can't have different brackets. You can't even be like, well, I have the same Final Four, I have the same Elite Eight. Nah, if you have one game compromise, you're cheating and nothing counts because like you have hedges in place. That doesn't matter. Like you have to have one bracket. You can put it wherever you want. You can disseminate it all over the place, but it cannot be divided. It cannot be changed. It cannot be altered in any way, shape, or form because it's not a bracket. It's brackets.
Well, I mean, and again, you could have, I mean, that's the idea. It's almost like Kuiper and McShay's mock drafts. You know, they'll put out 45 of them so they could say they were right. In bracket 7, I had this team taking that guy. And I guess it depends on where your money is. But that's why I only do one bracket, because if I'm in multiple places where there could be money on the line, I don't want to be right in one and wrong in the one that has the cash. You know, go with one bracket. It's much simpler on your life. Drew Brees, his life got a little bit simpler, so he thinks he's now in the TV business. Good luck, man. We'll talk about Drew Brees' retirement next here on the Blitz. You know, injuries do happen. If you twist, pull, pop, or snap something, you need to know about the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. From a minor sprain to a compound fracture, TSAOG Orthopedics has got you covered. Not all injuries require surgery, and Dr. David Espinosa treats all non-operative orthopedic injuries. He also does concussion baseline testing. Telemedicine services are available through OrthoConnect. You know there's no reason for you to be in pain. If you're hurting, visit the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics, online, tsaog.com. That's tsaog.com.
ESPN San Antonio and Stevens Roofing come together in our drive to end hunger. Brought to you in part by Quarter Moon Heating and AC, Roof Fix, and Airtron Heating and Air Conditioning. We have come together to support the San Antonio Food Bank. Give what you can at ESPNSA.com.
When it comes to social distancing, if 6 feet is not enough with your spouse, it's probably time to change your status. Call the Divorce Dude with Polling Law PLLC. The Divorce Dude will help you get a fast, affordable, agreed divorce. But if you want to fight, the Divorce Dude will fight for you. DivorceDude.com gives you easy legal options and sticks with you every step of the way. Call George, the Divorce Dude, 210-201-0303. That's 210-201-0303 or DivorceDude.com.
Making popcorn for movie night? Whoa, who are you? This is your wake-up call from TracFone Wireless. What if every time you tried a new streaming service, you had to buy a new TV?
That'd be ridiculous.
Yeah, some wireless companies do that when you switch, make you buy a new phone.
Right.
But TracFone Wireless lets you keep your phone and your number and your network and gives you unlimited talk and text starting at $20 a month.
Seriously, who are you?
This is your wake-up call, people. TracFone Wireless. Now you're in control. Oh, you're burning it.
Oh, no.
See terms and conditions at TracFone.com.
Northeast Independent School District is now hiring and training school bus drivers. Whether you're looking for a new job, you're a retiree, or you're retired military, come help drive students to succeed and apply at Northeast ISD Transportation today. No experience is necessary, and you will get paid while earning your CDL and learning how to drive a school bus.
The Northeast ISD Transportation Department is ranked as one of the top 100 school bus fleets in America.
And our drivers receive exceptional pay and benefits, including health, dental, vision, and retirement.
If you're looking for work, if you're retired from the military, or you simply want to make a difference in our community, apply now with the Northeast ISD Transportation Department.
Join our team and discover Northeast ISD by calling 210-356-9229. That's 210-356-9229. Or you can text Drive Bus to 797979. That's text Drive Bus to 797979.
It's time for some straight talk. Your tax return could look different this year, but you're still going to hear a lot of noise about how to spend it. So when the big carriers tell you to splurge on the latest nonsense, just tune it out. With Straight Talk, you can get a Samsung Galaxy A51 for just $199. Plus, get the $45 unlimited talk, text, and data plan with no contract on America's best networks for up to 50% less. Tune out the nonsense and tune in to Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
Get Get a free honey butter chicken biscuit at Wendy's this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Because as the official breakfast of March Madness, we've invented Biscuit Ball. The game with only one rule. Score a free honey butter chicken biscuit at Wendy's, no catch. During breakfast hours this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday only. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's.
No purchase required. Limit one free honey butter chicken biscuit per person per day, March 18th through 2021. Only at participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours. Not valid for delivery orders or combined with other Wendy's app offers. No substitutions while supplies last.
On Twitter, the AROD0927 tweets in at Jason Minix at RJ Ochoa. I used to do a bracket with Duke winning and another bracket with North Carolina winning. I'm lost now. That's funny. And again, that's what Brenda in accounting always did. And, it worked well. I'm sure there are some people thinking they got the wrong bracket when they don't see certain teams in the bracket this year, which is going to make it even more interesting of an NCAA tournament. Welcome back to the Blitz here on ESPN San Antonio. RJ Ochoa in for Rob Thompson today. I'm Jason Minix. Drew Brees, in the most dad way possible, announced his retirement yesterday with a video of his kid saying that he's finally retiring and going to spend more time with them, although that's not necessarily true. He's going to be a very busy man, as Drew Brees already has a deal with NBC that we all knew about as a studio analyst. I was curious, RJ, if he was going to replace Collinsworth or what they were going to do. He's going to start in the studio. He's also going to do some stuff with Notre Dame football, which is kind of interesting for the former Purdue player. But, they've got such a big TV contract and Olympic coverage, which will be interesting to see what he does with the Olympics. But for Drew Brees, and he's getting all the accolades and all well-deserved accolades. Incredible. I was surprised he waited, and I kept wondering why he was waiting. He waited. It was the 15th anniversary of when he actually signed with New Orleans as a free agent. And that's cool. You want to get to a certain mark on the calendar, and you were able to do that. And I saw Dan Orlovsky tweet or talk on Get Up this morning about the greatest free agent signing ever. And obviously that's going to be a long debate and can be for a variety of reasons. My first thought was, well, what about a Deion Sanders or a Charles Haley? But no. Drew Brees is Drew Brees. But to further think about that statement from Orlovsky, it is so hard to find a quarterback and then a quarterback to be in the right system. As you talk about a Sam Darnold about to move on, or you look at a Jared Goff who's switching teams, you put some of these guys in a different situation. Ryan Tannehill going from Miami to the Tennessee Titans. So much of the success at the quarterback position is the team and system in which he finds himself in. And Drew Brees and Sean Payton struck gold.
So I actually don't think it is even at all like a debatable thing that Drew's the greatest free agent signing of all time. He's the NFL's all-time leading passer. Like the statistical accolades, and then, you could go on forever what he means and what he and his wife and his family have done for the city of New Orleans, and especially, the fact that he chose New Orleans when he did really speaks to the character of the Brees family. And so I do think it's a bit weird to wait, we all knew you were retiring. You just wanted the paperwork finalized on the 15-year anniversary, I suppose, of your joining the Saints. But obviously it means a lot to him. One of the quarterbacks who, broke my heart a lot of times. But two of the greatest Cowboys wins, obviously in the regular season, came against Drew Brees-led teams. In 2009, when they knocked off the undefeated Saints, they would go on to win the Super Bowl. And then 3 years ago in 2018, when he was a little bit, lesser of the quarterback that he was at his peak. But, the number of people that strolled through that organization in that time, I think it's amazing when you make an NFL franchise or whatever, like a blue blood. And he did that with the Saints.
He really did. And again, an incredible career just with the New Orleans Saints. In the 15 years, you get that extra week of vacation maybe in the Saints policy of, you go 10 to 12 years or 12 to 14 and you get that 15. There was just something special about it. Although it does raise some questions on what did the New Orleans Saints do at the quarterback position moving forward. I don't know that any of us are really buying that Taysom Hill is going to be the guy full time. Could it be Jameis? Could Jameis get better offers in free agency that don't have to deal with a Taysom Hill? And then, of course, the Russ rumors are going to be out there.
The Russell thing is awesome. Somebody's going to make the point at some point that, he's the same height as Drew Brees, so the offensive line doesn't have to really change, etc. That is my favorite idea. I want to see Russell in Chicago, but Russell in New Orleans would be awesome because, great coaches deserve great players. And that's why, I'm loving this free agency period for the Patriots. I want to see Sean Payton with Russell Wilson.
Sean Payton with Russell Wilson. We'll see if that happens. More coming up here on the Blitz. Let me tell you about Alamo Water Softeners. Great local company owned by the Townsends. I've had a water softener in my home for about a decade. Wouldn't live without one. When you get your water softener from Alamo Water Softeners, not only are you going to get soft water, better tasting water, but you're going to save money on your appliances because you're going to add life to those appliances that have water running through them. Alamo Water Softeners is a great local company owned by the Townsends. Great product, even better service. On the Nextdoor app, Alamo Water Softeners was voted a 2020 neighborhood favorite. Now, during the winter storm that we had, a lot of people were worried about their water and if it was safe to drink. And if you have a water softener, do you need a water filter? Water softeners do take the hardness and minerals out of the water, but there are some chemicals and contaminants that a water softener won't remove that a filtration system will. Alamo Water Softeners recommends both a water softener and filtration system. Call them, have them out to the house. They'll test your water for free, give you a free estimate, and when you're working with Alamo Water Softeners, you're working with the best value for the highest quality water treatment. Discover the Alamo Water Softeners difference online at alamowatersofteners.com. That's alamowatersofteners.com. You can talk keto all you want, but if you don't have a team of great tasting snacks behind you, you're not going to win the diet marathon. Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds have these big, bold flavors that kick your taste buds into high gear. Korean kimchi barbecue, pasilla chili cheese, spicy dill and more. Eat them right out of the bag or try them in your favorite recipes. You'll love this snack. Visit your local H-E-B and southernrecipesmallbatch.com to see the power of the rind.
Guys, stop what you're doing. Give me a few seconds of your time and let me give you a piece of advice that will change your love life forever. Have you noticed you've been losing a little pep in your step? Has your lady friend asked you, is everything okay? Do you find yourself having trouble rising for the occasion? Do you stress out before that special moment and wonder, is it gonna work? Guys, I'm going to let you in on a big secret. You don't ever have to worry again. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula has you covered. Mojo is the 100% guaranteed male enhancement formula that guarantees lasting success, if you know what I mean. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula is safe, natural, and effective every single time, guaranteed. Mojo is available in a fast-acting spray and a quick-action capsule. Do yourself and her a favor and call Pureline Nutrition in San Antonio today. They'll get you set up for success. Call 210-494-2210. That number again is 210-494-2210. Mojo Male Enhancement, only available at Pureline Nutrition.
The Wendy's restaurant in your area has issued a major bag alert. Bag alert, major bag alert. The bacon double stack is back in the biggie bag with fries, nugs, and a drink, all for just $5. The following are to be expected: joy, disbelief, inability to think about anything else. This deal is effective immediately, and it's only at Wendy's. Major bag alert. Bag alert. Major
Biggie bag includes 4-piece nuggets, small fry, and small drink. U.S. price and participation may vary.
It's time for some straight talk. Your tax return could look different this year, but you're still going to hear a lot of noise about how to spend it. So when the big carriers tell you to splurge on the latest nonsense, just tune it out. With Straight Talk, you can get a Samsung Galaxy A51 for just $199. Plus, get the $45 unlimited talk, text, and data plan with no contract on America's best networks for up to 50% less. Tune out the nonsense and tune in to Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise.
ESPN San Antonio, all day, every day. 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM, KZDC San Antonio. Jason Minix, Rob Thompson, The Blitz.
It is The Blitz here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, ESPNSA.com. nice and sunny outside at just after 6 o'clock. I love the time change this time of year. RJ Ochoa in for Rob Thompson, who's wrapping up his vacation today. He'll be back in the chair tomorrow. I'm Jason Minix. Jill Jelnick from Sports Tonight and YOLO Texas will join us in about 30 minutes as we get you ready for the Spurs and Pistons on Game Night San Antonio, brought to you by Mellow Mushroom. But it's an NFL free agency kind of day. Gronk, I saw an article earlier that he wanted to test free agent waters. Boy, he apparently got on a boat and signed with the Bucks. 1-year deal. Could be up to $10 million. He and Tom want to run it back, but their former team, the Patriots, every time I look up, they're signing another player. I mean, it's like Belichick has gone to the mall with the stimulus check.
Actually, I would say it's a little bit different. It's like Bill Belichick had to endure an entire season. Everybody thinking he's washed. And then he lost the division and saw the Bills Mafia act like, New England hadn't dominated it for 2 decades. And then he had to watch Tom Brady win the Super Bowl and everybody talk about how Tom was the real go, Bill Belichick's nothing. We did it. We woke him up. He was fine. He was hibernating. He was just chilling, doing his Bill Belichick thing. He is pissed off. This sucks. The Cowboys play the Patriots in 2021.
They do, and they're signing a lot of guys, and quite honestly, the Patriots free agency tracker, even the Patriots social media team, creative today with just a photo of Belichick's dog sitting at his kitchen table from the draft last year. They're getting some work done. I don't want to say it's surprising. It's not surprising, but to see boom, Patriots, boom, Patriots, boom, Patriots, boom, Patriots. Every time I look up, I want to see what the Cowboys are doing. Hell, the Houston Texans are signing a bunch of guys, a bunch of former Cowboys. We've called the Texans the Patriots East for a long time. They're, they signed 2 Cowboys pledge. That's 2 Patriots that you have East. To root for. That used to have to have this. Now they're becoming Cowboys. They're getting all the Cowboys cast-offs.
Did you say that the Texans were Patriots East? Isn't Patriots East London?
Patriots West. Yeah, same difference. They're not Jacksonville. Patriots South. So
my favorite signing this free agency period is a Patriot. Jonnu Smith. Holy crap. Giving him $50 million. He is going to go off. I actually tried to go look at Pledge and I's Dynasty League that we share with a bunch of people, obviously, to see who has him, and I can't look because the rosters aren't activated, but I'm whoa.
Excuse you. Yeah, bless you.
I'm allergic to the sadness in the room. But I'm like, that dude is going off. And they drafted Devin Asiasi last year. I mean, the Patriots, from a football standpoint, the Gronk, Aaron Hernandez thing isn't quite like back, but my goodness. And Cam Newton thrived with an incredible tight end option in Greg Olsen in Carolina. We're about to see Cam Newton awoken as well.
Well, and you look at that, the Patriots also added in Nelson Aguilar. So, and he had a decent year last year with the Raiders after, his time in Philadelphia. But I look at what's happening, and really for the Cowboys, what's the biggest news? That they signed a Noah Brown and signed a new long snapper. So we lose a 16-year veteran at the long snapper position that RJ is very broken up about and wants to put a long snapper in the Ring of Honor. You talk about an emotional reaction.
Here's the thing. I'm concerned. I'm truly to the 100th degree, no. But I am concerned. The Cowboys moved on from LP Ladouceur, who in 16 years never had even a debatably bad snap, right? He is signed and has been signed for the cheapest possible contract that a long snapper can be signed to. And they chose to move on from him in favor of somebody who has a history with John Fossil. You can't deny that. But he was a few games away from passing Jason Witten for the franchise's all-time record. And we know that this franchise values Jason Witten. We know that they covet him in a way that they don't covet all other players. We know that they have vacationed with Jason Witten and his family, along with Tony Romo's family. And so it is possible. It is within the realm of possibilities that they moved on from LP Ladouceur, as much respect as they have for him, in order to preserve Jason Witten's all-time games played record for the Cowboys. If that is the case, and nobody knows except for the Joneses, that is a truly terrifying sign of the way that this franchise operates.
Well, if they really let go of a valuable employee for a record, that would be the biggest joke of all the joke moves that the Dallas Cowboys have. Right. I don't buy it. I don't even know that Jerry was aware that that record would be in jeopardy. You know, you look at the Mcquaid guy. I was trying to do a little research on him because I'm not up to speed on my long snappers in the NFL.
He's been Pro Bowler.
Yeah, he was. When was the last time LP was a Pro Bowler? He's been with the Rams 10 years.
He was a Pro Bowler like 2 years ago in 2018.
LP was?
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes, he was.
All right. Well, because Mcquaid was a Pro Bowler in 16 and 17. If LP was there, but again, we're talking about a long snapper. I cannot believe that Jerry would cut him, or he didn't cut him because he was a free agent, would not bring him back to preserve a record held by Jason Witten. I just knowing that Witten played for the Raiders for a year, I would think Jerry would, if he were thinking that at some point, the fact that you went and wore that other uniform wouldn't allow that to happen. They brought him back after Monday Night Football and realized that was a mistake. Witten wanted to keep playing. The Cowboys said no, and he went and played for the Raiders. So I don't think that the Cowboys, because with what you're saying, he would never have been with the Raiders. He would have stayed with Dallas. They realized they made a mistake in bringing him back.
I mean, if we're going down this sector of we were already in the rabbit hole, and you wanted to go down like one particular avenue of it.
Well, I didn't like your hole.
They realized that they could not bring Witten back after the season he had after Monday Night Football, which, by the way, compares very eerily to what Dalton Schultz did this last year. Like, if you look at Dalton Schultz's statistical output this past season, it's almost identical to Jason Witten in 2019. But so, I mean, they just had no choice. But again, I would not buy this as even a possibility if they had not let Jason Witten walk back into a locker room that featured a Pro Bowler in LP Ladouceur and a handful of others that had won the NFC East, that had won a playoff game, that had lost incidentally to Jake McQuaid's Los Angeles Rams. I mean, like, they allowed that, and that, like, doing that makes a lot of other things that seem stupid and far-fetched a little bit more possible.
But again, when you're Jason Witten, NFL Man of the Year, a cornerstone player, somebody that's respected and looked up to, I get all that. I just won't believe.
You're talking about LP too. He's a cornerstone guy too.
He is. He's a long snapper. And again, it is. I mean, look, there's a reason why, certain players get a lot of money and certain players don't. I mean, I don't know why they decided to move on, because this guy has never had a bad snap in his life in a game. The reason why most fans have no idea who he is or how to pronounce his name properly is because he's the long snapper who doesn't mess up. But they're replacing a 16-year veteran long snapper with a guy that's been doing it at a Pro Bowl level for the Rams for 10 years. So Fossil and Greg Zuerlein apparently had a lot more to do with this than you would think. And again, if I'm Greg Zuerlein, I think I'd be more concerned about my holder than the long snapper. I mean, what are you complaining about? Although maybe he wasn't getting the ball back there fast enough. Maybe he needed that extra half second. I don't know. Maybe he wasn't as fun playing in the card games. I don't know. He lost all the bets and paid with loonies. I have no idea why they apparently wanted to move on from LP, but I'm not going to lose sleep over the fact that the Cowboys are changing out their long snapper.
So an interesting point that a friend of mine, Bobby Belt, reminded me of. Philip Tanner, friend of mine as well, friend of Cowboys Twitter, former Cowboys running back, theorized not long ago, in fact, I'm just reading Bobby's tweet verbatim, that LP would choose to depart if Chris Jones was leaving. Now, the special teamers do get tight, and it does make more sense that Chris Jones would be gone than that he will stay. But, I mean, I just...
Hold on. Say that part again.
So... Philip Tanner, former Cowboys running back, theorized that LP would choose to depart if Chris Jones, the punter, was leaving. And that is pretty probable that he will be. Hunter Nicewander was nice, no pun intended, in lieu of him at the end of the season. But and again, like, these dudes do get very tight. The three special teams guys, the snapper, the punter, and the kicker. But I can't imagine that you would be like, I'm at the age of 40, I'll uproot my whole family, my whole life and everything just because Chris Jones is gone after everything I've built here in Dallas. But maybe he's that loyal. I would respect that.
Well, then he's not that loyal, because otherwise he'd stay with the Cowboys. I mean, how many punters and kickers and holders has LP snapped to through the years? I don't know that I hitch my wagon to a Chris Jones, although I do think from a long snapper, the relationship with the punter may be more so than the field goal or extra point holder, and the place kicker, very little.
Who's your favorite free agent signing today? Since I know you're not losing sleep over LP Ladders there, who's the one that's got you going, ooh, making that exact noise?
You know what the Bucks did with some of their players not named Gronk. You know, the fact that they're doing what they've been able to do. I look at the Patriots and I'm sitting there seeing what they're doing, and then Pledge's Houston Texans just signing former Cowboy after former Cowboy that weren't good with Dallas. It makes everything that much better.
Now, on Twitter, Franklin M. Boteo, at Tanklin13, tweeted at you, Jason, and at me, said, you know, the Cowboys are going to lose a game due to a long snap this year. It's the Cowboys' way. Now,
Absolutely.
I agree with this.
Yeah.
I agree with this. However, they have already lost a game due to a long snapper. In fact, you'll recall on October 21st, 2018, the Cowboys were on the road in D.C. against Alex Smith's Washington
And that's why they're finally getting rid of him. Because that snap infraction.
Yeah, it was a snap infraction that set Brett Maher, of all people, back 5 more yards. He had to try the field goal again. He hit the upright, and the next day, the Dallas Cowboys traded for Amari Cooper while Bryce Butler was with them in D.C. wearing number 19, who they cut the moment the plane landed back in DFW.
Yep, all of that is true. Although I believe Tanklin13 is a Deadskin fan, so you know, I mean, he probably really appreciated the Washington football team story there. And yes, the Cowboys are going to have a game this year where a bad snap is in play. RJ has already written the tweet and saved it in his drafts. We know that to be a fact. Spurs and Pistons play tonight. We'll get you going on game night San Antonio at 6:30. More NFL talk as we continue here on the Blitz. But first, let me tell you about NewBrakes.com. New Brakes is a mobile brake shop. They will come to you to fix your brakes. You know, we all like things to be easy and convenient, and New Brakes has done that with brake repair. They'll come to your home, they'll come to your office, wherever you are, and they will fix your brakes. And they only fix brakes. You're not going to get the normal upsell that a traditional repair shop's going to give you once a car is on the lift. Most repairs are done in less than an hour, and New Brakes uses premium brake parts, and they back all repairs with a 24-month, 24,000-mile warranty. Just go read all those 5-star reviews. New Brakes provides convenient and affordable brake repairs. So if your brakes are bad or you think they're going bad, go to nubrakes.com. Schedule your repair. Save 10% when you mention my name, Jason Minix, or ESPN San Antonio at nubrakes.com. nubrakes.com.
Love the Saturday morning hangover? Well, watch along every Saturday morning from 9 to 11. You can watch the show live at ESPNSA.com or on the ESPN San Antonio Facebook and YouTube pages. Search ESPN San Antonio and subscribe.
Nobody plans on getting arrested, but it happens. Get out of jail fast by calling my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. Call AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans and are open 24/7. Call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
O'Reilly.
Save big during Power Torque Tools DIY Day sale at O'Reilly Auto Parts with great deals on socket sets, impact wrenches, and more. Right now, get $10 off a 200-piece mechanics tool set, plus earn double O-Rewards points. That means you'll get to your next reward even faster. Visit the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts today or shop O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You decided to upgrade your outdoor deck. So you ordered the essentials: a power washer, a set of patio chairs, and a shiny new grill. And you used your Bank of America Cash Rewards credit card, choosing to earn 3% cash back on online shopping and up to 5.25% as a preferred rewards member, which you put towards your most essential deck addition, a bird feeder. Apply for yours at bankofamerica.com/more rewarding. Copyright 2020 Bank of America Corporation.
Injuries happen. If you twist, pull, pump, or snap something, you need to know about the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. From a minor sprain to a compound fracture, TSAOG has got you covered. Not all injuries require surgery. Dr. David Espinosa treats all non-operative orthopedic injuries and concussion baseline testing. Telemedicine services are available through Ortho Connect. If you're hurting, go to the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. Online, TSAOG.com. That's TSAOG.com. It is the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, ESPNSA.com. RJ Ochoa from bloggingtheboys.com. In for Rob Thompson, I'm Jason Minix. Brackets are out. The ESPN San Antonio Basketball Mayhem Bracket Challenge, brought to you by Pinkerton's Barbecue, is up right now at ESPNSA.com. Make sure you go, fill out your bracket. Perfect bracket, you could win $1 million. Best bracket at ESPNSA.com will win a $100 gift card to Pinkerton's Barbecue. You know, when you look at the bracket being out, it's this great time of year. And you mentioned this earlier in the show, RJ, and I want to kind of revisit it. It's 6:19. We've got daylight. Love this time of year. You got the brackets are out on the men's side. The women's side, they're doing Selection Monday right now. All of the women's tournament will be here in San Antonio. That's cool. Valero Texas Open is right around the corner. Had some really good golf on the TV yesterday. Lots of good basketball until, of course, the Spurs played last night. But you've got baseball spring training. There are normal feeling things going on in this world right now in what has been a very abnormal kind of year.
Yeah, I mean, it feels nice. It feels cool. A minute ago, it was dark in here, and you couldn't see my pretty face. And I thought, well, let me turn on the lamp. And then I thought, oh, I'll just open the blind because there's 5 tons of sunlight. So it feels normal, feels good. I know you're pumped. I'm only bummed for you that I've heard you now for years complain about how you don't like the other time, is what we'll refer to it. And you've talked so much about how you've always enjoyed finishing up the Blitz, walking outside, seeing daylight, and driving home. You don't get to do that today. I'm sorry.
No, but you know what I do get to do is, well, look, this is much needed. But when the time change happened, and that coincides with it being cold, and I'm kind of a weenie when it comes to cold weather. I've been out of my walking routine. Did a long walk last night. My wife just got home, said, "Are you grilling before or after the walk?" And oh, we're going for a walk. And then, when I get back, I'm doing fajitas tonight. So those will go on the grill. So while I don't get to drive home in the sunshine, I will be going for a nice walk as soon as work is over to, try to get back into that routine. And you know what else? If you're out there, it's completely self-serving. I want to get a bike. I just don't know what kind of bike that I want to get. When we were down in Florida, when we got stranded in Florida during the ice storm, the hotel had bikes you could
We saw on the Instagram story, Jason. We saw.
But I had fun riding the bike. So I looked at Academy. I don't know what I don't want to one of those really expensive mountain bikes. I'm not going to do off-roading. I don't want, that. I don't know. I just want to get a decent, inexpensive bike in case I don't stick with it. But I think I would much rather ride bikes around the neighborhood than walk around the neighborhood. I might go a little bit further.
Here's my piece of advice to you. Get a cruiser. Don't get like a mountain bike. Don't get something with multiple gears. Just get a cruiser. That's what you want. You want to be able to cruise around the neighborhood. You want
Is that
something
what they're
like,
called? Is that what they're called? They're called
want,
cruisers?
You want something with curvy handlebars. Like that. That's kind of the, actually, this is the best barometer I can give you.
Basket in the front.
No, maybe not quite. No. But to that degree, you want something that you would ride to pick up an ice cream cone in, like you did in Florida. Like that's the look of the bike that you are looking for, is what I'm saying. Like if it passes that visual test in your mind, get the bike.
Is there an ice cream cone place that I could safely? Well, I know there's a Freddy's Frozen Custard not far from here.
Yeah, you can go to Willie's and get, they got a lot of good dessert options there.
Although that would be a long way. I mean, I could probably ride there. Riding back would be my biggest issue. You know what I mean? That's the one problem when you ride a bike is you've got to always remember you've got to ride back. And again, I don't want to do 25, 50 miles. I don't want that kind of a bike. I don't want to go jumping. Bike. I just want a good, but the styles and ranges and cost are all over the place. I had no idea because I haven't bought a bike since I was 10. I think my last bike was a Mongoose.
I don't know what that is, but maybe
it used to be one of those cool bikes in the early 80s you can get where you could do a lot of jumping.
Did you put a trading card on the spoke with a laundry clip, the clothespin thing?
No.
Well, okay. You want a cruiser, but my only question is, are you capable enough, like if you had an ice cream cone, to hold the cone in one hand and steer with one hand?
Without bragging too much, it's just like riding a bike. You know that old saying? I can tell you I have not ridden a bike in years. I couldn't even begin to tell you the last time I rode a bike before a couple weeks ago down in Florida, and it really is like riding a bike. I did not, because there are too many people on the Broadwalk, to try to go no hands, but one hand was easy. I could do I didn't do wheelies or anything like that. I wasn't that brave, but I think I could eat an ice cream cone while riding the bike or drink a beer while riding the bike.
I can see this ending very quickly for Jason because he fell in love with it in Miami. Miami is flat. Your neighborhood is not. There are hills and ups and downs, and that is completely different and will take it out on your legs.
But again, I mean, I realize that, but you feel that when you're doing the walks. Brian Hankinson, already 5-1 odds on a broken collarbone. Half a peace sign to you, my friend. But when you look at this, but that's why I want to make sure I get a bike that kind of has the gears that can help out when you're going up the hills. But I had no idea. If you're into the bikes, any advice, shoot me a message on Twitter or Facebook or something, because there's a lot more research that goes into it apparently than I realized. I figured I'll just look at Academy, figure out a bike, and go get one, and it ain't that.
One of our neighbors has this contraption. It's kind of like a scooter. Like he stands on it, and it's got something for each of his feet. So it's like it's two different platforms. And I don't know what it's called, but dude, he's like the like machine is based off of the like physical momentum. Like there's no pedals that you're turning. So he's like kind of whipping himself to move around. It's pretty sick.
Is it motorized?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like he's got to like whip his body and create inertia that way.
Oh no, I don't want that. That's too much. I mean, I'm getting tired of looking at you trying to demonstrate what that actually might be. No, I definitely don't want that. But to Pledge's point, I don't want something that's so expensive that if I get too far away or up a hill and I decide to Uber home, that if the bike gets stolen, I don't care. And I'm not going to go fast enough to worry about, like major crashes. I mean, I'm not trying to go racer or anything like that. And you look at all these bikes, that's kind of what they're all built to do. It's just a very different world. All right, let's talk some Spurs. Jill Jelnick from Sports Tonight in Yolo, Texas, will join us next on Game Night San Antonio, brought to you by Mellow Mushroom. Spurs, Pistons tonight. We're talking about it next here on the Blitz. If you're having issues with your plumbing, your heating, your air conditioner, you need to know about one company, and that is Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heating, and AC at 210-651-5899. At Quarter Moon, they are experts at worst-case scenarios. Big job, small job, residential or commercial. Their service trucks are fully stocked, and they have all the equipment needed for any job. No commission sales reps. They'll provide estimates or second opinions. A great experienced staff that has earned an A-plus ranking with the Better Business Bureau. And at Quarter Moon, they are green certified. 210-651-5899, 651-5899, or online, quartermoonplumbing.com.
Hoops and Hype, The Post-Up with Brendan Medina and Jack Thompson. A basketball anthology. The culture from the court to kicks for the discerning fan. The Post-Up. Fridays at 7 after the Blitz. 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM.
Jason Minix here for Alamo Water Softeners. You know, following the winter storm and freeze, lots of people had two questions about their water. Is it safe to drink? And if you have a water softener, do you need a water filter? Well, water softeners do take the hardness and minerals out of the water, but there are some chemicals and contaminants that it doesn't remove. A filtration system will. That's why at Alamo Water Softeners, they recommend both a water softener and filtration system. But you really need to know what you're dealing with when it comes to your water. So call them. They will come out to your house and give you a free water analysis. So at Alamo Water Softeners, they'll come test your water for free, give you a free estimate, and then you're going to get the best water softener that you can get. Alamo Water Softeners is the best value for the highest quality water treatment. I can tell you firsthand, I've had a water softener from Alamo Water Softeners for about a decade. Had one in the old house when we moved a little over a year ago. First thing I had installed was a new water softener from Alamo Water Softeners. All the cool technology, and you're working with a great local company owned by the Townsends. Great product, even better service. In fact, on the Nextdoor app, Alamo Water Softeners was voted a 2020 neighborhood favorite. Discover the Alamo Water Softeners difference. Go to alamowatersofteners.com. That's alamowatersofteners.com.
Going for a few days without water, then being told to boil your water when it came back on, that got a lot of people thinking, is my tap water safe? Hey, this is David Van Camp. Alamo Water Softeners can help you out. They've got top-of-the-line water softeners and filtration systems. They'll come out to your house for a free water analysis and explain what they can do for you. And Alamo Water Softeners is a 2020 neighborhood favorite on Nextdoor. Go to alamowatersofteners.com to schedule a free water analysis. That's alamowatersofteners.com.
This is the Dispatch Health House Call Team. Hi there. They provide urgent medical care in the comfort and privacy of your own home. And now, you can request a medical house call with the touch of a button. Yep, it's that easy. The Dispatch Health Team arrives at your door able to treat everything an urgent care can, and more. They come fully equipped with COVID-19 tests and can treat COVID-19 conditions in your home. They also treat a wide range of everyday issues, including respiratory infections like flu and pneumonia, migraines, dehydration, sprains, strains, and minor fractures. Plus, Dispatch Health is in-network with most health insurance plans, including Medicare and Medicare Advantage. So the next time you're sick or injured, stay home, stay safe, and let Dispatch Health come to you. Do you have questions about getting a house call during the COVID-19 pandemic or want to sign up for your free account? Visit dispatchhealth.com. Again, that's dispatchhealth.com.
Experience the Movie Metal pop-up installation at the San Antonio Museum of Art. This limited-time installation displays the artistry of the iconic automobiles and creatures that made the movie. See Batmobiles, Speed Racer, time-traveling DeLorean, and Iron Man's Formula One race car. Towering statues such as Bumblebee, Optimus Prime, and Predator. Movie Metal at the San Antonio Museum of Art. Now through April 11th. Presented by Generations Federal Credit Union and Spectrum Reach.
I struggled with symptoms like frequent gas and stomach pain for years.
I was bloated all the time with daily diarrhea.
At first, I thought it was what I was eating.
I kept thinking it was stomach issues.
So I did my research and talked to my doctor, and we finally uncovered the truth.
It was actually EPI. Exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, is a condition where your pancreas is unable to help break down your food.
It can lead to symptoms like diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools.
And EPI symptoms can be confused with those of other common digestive conditions, like irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's, and celiac disease.
So getting to the right diagnosis meant being more open with my doctor about the severity of my symptoms and how often they were happening.
But there's good news. EPI is manageable, so don't wait any longer. Use the symptom checker at identifyepi.com and schedule a visit or call with your doctor to ask, could I have EPI?
Sponsored by AbbVie.
Game Night San Antonio.
Brought to you by the Mellow Mushroom.
This is Manu Ginobili.
This is Matt Bonner, a.k.a. the Red Rocket, a.k.a. the Red Mamba, a.k.a. Sandwich Hunter.
Hi, this is DeJounte Murray. It's Game Night San Antonio.
Game Night San Antonio.
Brought to you by the Mellow Mushroom.
Spurs against the Pistons tonight in Detroit, trying to forget about last night. It is Game Night San Antonio, brought to you by Mellow Mushroom. RJ Ochoa in for Rob Thompson. I'm Jason Minix, now joined by Jill Jelnick from Sports Tonight, YOLO, Texas, and CrossFit competitor, survivor at the very least. I mean, at least you're here in one piece. The Spurs last night, before we talk about tonight's game, last night was such a disaster. Nobody was even complaining when Pop emptied the bench in the third quarter just to try to save legs for tonight's game against Detroit.
I think that was the biggest tell, was that there were so many people not surprised, including myself. Usually we don't see Pop empty the bench that early. I don't know if we've ever seen Pop empty the bench that early. It was 4 minutes left in the third quarter, and I remember double checking the box and seeing exactly how much time there was left, because I just couldn't. I just wanted to make note that this was very, very different than what we're normally seeing. But at the same time, I understood it. Not only were they getting their butts kicked, this is also the first game of a back-to-back. They got another game tomorrow. That is tonight now. That's tonight, that they absolutely have to win. So it was as unique as it was to see Pop make that move. I don't think there's a lot of people that were seriously surprised by that move.
Is that the kind of game, especially when you have a short turnaround in a back-to-back, that you just throw it away? Do you even look at the tape? Does Pop, we talk about the lack of consistency with this team a little too often. That win over Orlando Saturday, incredible. And then the turnaround and show what they showed last night in Philadelphia is a lot more than just playing one bad team and one really good team. There's something internal with this Spurs team that Pop has yet to figure out.
Yeah, I think that's exactly proof of it. The irony that they were coming off of their most lopsided victory of the entire season against the Magic, right? And they turn around and have one of the worst losses of the season. It goes back to your point, Jason. How many times have we talked about inconsistency? And to answer your first question, no, you don't watch the tape. You hurry up, get back on the court, you figure out what you need to do against the Pistons, and you worry about that game. And Pop even said in his post-game presser last night, I think the very first question of the presser was, is there any positive to take away from this game? And in one word, he said no. And that was it. That was it. Because there's not, except the silver lining is there were several guys that got some serious minutes, right? We saw Drew Eubanks post a career high 17 points, I believe. A lot of more playing time for Luka, a lot of more playing time for Trey Jones. That would be the silver lining. But in Pop's eyes, you toss it, you scratch it off, and you focus on the next game.
Jill, what is the most consistent thing about them then? Because everything is different. Like every day is different, every game is different, every team is different. But if you have to put them into one box, if you can label them one thing, what are you most confident in labeling them?
Their tenacity. These young guys with their fast pace, I think that's what you can expect every single game. This fast-paced offense and also aggressive defense, right? I hesitate, RJ, saying, their defense has been most consistent, because really it's come a long way since the start of the season. And same with their offense. Who knows who's going to be the star of that night? It could be any one of these guys, not always just DeMar DeRozan, not just Keldon Johnson. So it's not as simple, you're right, as saying, the offense has been their most consistent aspect or their defense. I think it's the way they approach these games and their style of play their style of play has been the most consistent, which is a fast pace, their best defensive games possible in your face, right? And I think LaMarcus Aldridge getting away from the team, moving away from the team is almost proof of that, because he could not fit into that style of play in the way they hoped he would. So it's a great question, RJ, but you're right. The inconsistency is the toughest. If there was something, I would just say these young guys that push the pace and their style of play, they try to continue to bring each and every night.
And you mentioned LaMarcus, and he wouldn't have helped last night. Obviously, DeMar would, although DeMar is going to be away from the team again tonight. But you look at LaMarcus Aldridge, one of the, outlying storylines going into that game is, well, this could be a trade partner for LaMarcus Aldridge. Although Philadelphia last night certainly didn't look like a team that needed a LaMarcus Aldridge the way they took care of business so easily. And I think that was the hard part. This is a team that is scrappy and fun to watch. They offered zero fight last night. I mean, that was, I think when they realized they got punched in the nose, if they could have just thrown in the towel and tapped out, they would have thrown in the towel and tapped out and not played 4 quarters.
And the fact that Joel Embiid wasn't even in this game, I mean, yeah. if Philly was looking for reasons to bring, to need him or bring him back or want him, last night's game was not representative of that. It was a very, very poor, embarrassing loss for the Spurs. But here's the thing: I think you also have to throw in the fact that this is going to be indicative of this NBA season, the 2020-2021 season, right? The Spurs, in my opinion, the toughest schedule. You've heard it from numerous people. Toughest schedule in the second half of this season because of the 11 back-to-backs and the 40 games in 68 days. This is going to be extremely difficult for this team. And I think, unfortunately, you're going to maybe have some of these games where they are not at their full potential. Pop pulls them and says, okay, we need to get the winnable games, which is going to be these next 3 games, right? Which is going to be tonight with Detroit, Cleveland, right? Milwaukee's going to be a lot tougher on Saturday, but you got to win the winnable games.
Well, yeah, Detroit, Chicago, and Cleveland need to be wins because you've got to win these games. But I want to go back and touch on that because they played Orlando, had a travel day in there, but I mean, they're rested for Philadelphia, knowing that there are games that you probably aren't going to win regardless of the fight that you have. And then games that you need to win to try to make sure you're within the 10 seed, at least get in the play-in tournament. And you're playing an Eastern Conference team. Even the way that game started almost felt as if the team knew and Pop certainly knew that if we get down early, we're not going to spend a whole lot of energy trying to get back into this and compete. And in that third quarter, what they give up, 49 or 46. That third quarter, the effort just wasn't there. And you almost just wonder if even going in the game plan, whether the players knew it or not, was we're not going to win this game no matter what we do. So we're not going to kill ourselves on this one, knowing that we've got 3 games that we have to win coming up that are a lot more important. And with the 40 games in 68 days, there are games that you're just going to mail in. I mean, you've got to look at the importance level.
I don't know about going into that game with that mindset, though. RJ, correct me if I'm wrong.
It's not a measuring stick game,
especially at this pro level, Jason. I disagree with you. I don't think any NBA team, let alone the Spurs, coached by Coach Popovich, is going to have even a quarter of a mindset thinking that, okay, if we're not doing well, we're gonna throw in the towel right away. Absolutely not. The first quarter, they were down by roughly 13-14. They were down by 8 at the half. Mm-hmm. It was that third quarter, like you said, that changed everything. The second biggest scoring quarter for an opponent in the Coach Popovich era. That quarter was a dagger. That's what changed everything. Coach Pop made the call, put the bench in. I don't hate that call with the game the next day, 5 out of 5 games in 7 days. But I disagree with you in the sense that this is a team that could have maybe even thought about the possibility of throwing in the towel against the Sixers. Okay, the Spurs have beaten some top teams the first half of the season. They've beaten teams when they had their second unit, not even a full first unit.
Sure.
So I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, RJ. I don't think that that's ever going to be a mindset of an NBA team, let alone a Coach Popovich team.
So I do think that there's a level of efficiency to it all, right? Like there is like there's a box of winnable games, and there's a box of like, these are definitely heavier rolls of the dice games. And I do think I think it's possible that you can get blown out in the first quarter. Like it's more rare, and this wasn't the case last night to this point, where you can say, you know what, like this jumps from one box to the other. And clearly the break point was the third quarter. But I do think to the overall point, like if you look at this particular road trip, outside like the bookend games of this road trip are the tougher ones. So like if you're saying like, if you go into it and you say, okay, we've got to have 3 wins out of this road trip, like it does make sense to not like mentally forfeit the Philly and Milwaukee games, but to say, okay, you know what, like in all like levels of practicality, those are going to be tougher for us. It's like the Rick Moranis speech in Little Giants. Like if we play these games like 100 times, we're probably going to lose, 99 of them, but all it takes is that one. And last night was definitely one of the 99 is kind of the overall point.
And I will say that,
you're suggesting the annexation of Puerto Rico. That's what you're suggesting for the Spurs. Okay.
I'm just saying, well done. You look at that, Jill, and maybe I never think a player's just going to throw in a game. All right. I never, players don't tank. Players don't try to go lose games. But coaches and organizations do. And by rotations and by controlling minutes, there's a plan in place. And this Spurs organization, they won't tell us this, but there is a plan over this stretch of games in this very difficult second half where certain players are going to get certain amount of rest. There are games that they're going, this one isn't going to matter. We'll try to win early, but as soon as it starts to go off the rails, pull the plug. Other guys are going to get more minutes. Rest days are probably built in for some of the veteran players, some alternating rest days. And with no DeMar DeRozan, you're already going into it obviously shorthanded. No LaMarcus, although we can quit saying no LaMarcus. He's not a part of the plan in the future.
We can stop saying that now. Thank you. We got to remind Rob of that too.
Well, I mean, and again, but until there's something done, and then of course, what is the future of DeMar DeRozan? Somebody asked in the Facebook comments, is this a playoff team? And my answer to that is yes, as we sit here right now. But come trade deadline, depending on what this team does, no, I don't know. We've got to see what this team does. We'll talk about that and the Pistons game tonight as we continue it here on Game Night San Antonio, brought to you by Mellow Mushroom. Nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. Whether it's you, a family member, a friend of yours, somebody gets arrested, you get arrested, you want to get out of jail fast. The best way to do that is by calling my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds. 210-225-2121 is the phone number, or go to the website, mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail. A lot of reasons for that. And you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you truly understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. Your best option, AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans available, offer a free shuttle service. They're discreet and confidential and open 24/7. Offices all over San Antonio and Texas, services nationwide. So if you're down in the Valley, in Corpus, up in Dallas, anywhere in between, license number 149, call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. 225-2121 or online, mybestbailbonds.com.
There's only one way to do Saturdays with a Saturday morning hangover. James Pledger and Jack Thompson
getting you ready for all the weekend's games and then some.
Saturday mornings 9 to 11, 1250 ESPN San Antonio
and 94.5 FM.
Injuries happen. If you twist, pull, pump, or snap something, you need to know about the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. From a minor sprain to a compound fracture, TSAOG has got you covered. Not all injuries require surgery. Dr. David Espinosa treats all non-operative orthopedic injuries and concussion baseline testing. Telemedicine services are available through Ortho Connect. If you're hurting, go to the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. Online, TSAOG.com. That's TSAOG.com. The COVID pandemic may have forced the cancellation of the 2020 Valero Texas Open, but it hasn't extinguished the spirit and drive for making a difference. The Valero Texas Open is back with health and safety priority one. Adhering to state, local, and PGA Tour COVID guidelines, we'll be able to enjoy this long-standing San Antonio tradition safely. We're stronger together. Join us April 1st through the 4th as the best PGA Tour players in the world take on TPC San Antonio. Limited tickets are available. Buy yours today at ValeroTexasOpen.com.
Let me tell you why I love my Spurs, man.
Game Night San Antonio, brought to you by the Mellow Mushroom.
This is Matt Bonner.
This is Manu Ginobili. Hi, this is DeJounte Murray. It's Game Night San Antonio.
Game Night San Antonio, brought to you by the Mellow Mushroom.
Spurs Pistons tonight in Detroit, getting going just after 7 o'clock. It will be televised on Fox Southwest. It's Game Night San Antonio, brought to you by Mellow Mushroom. I'm Jason Minix. RJ Ochoa in for Rob Thompson, who wraps up his vacation today. He's scheduled to be back in the chair tomorrow. Jill Jelnick from Sports Tonight and YOLO Texas, and our ESPN SA NBA insider joining us as well. You know, you think about the trade deadline, which is less than 2 weeks away. You know, reports out there that the Spurs are trying to move LaMarcus Aldridge. And quite frankly, as soon as they announced he was no longer with the team, I kind of felt like you're not going to be able to trade him and get something in return, because why would a team at this point overspend? And if they got to give up something to make the money work, is that going to be something that the Spurs would want in return? Yet, apparently, you know, Woj tweeted something completely different. I'm going to defer to Woj instead of what I'm thinking. But, you know, I've said many times, when it comes to the trades and the untouchables on this team, I don't do anything until I know what DeMar DeRozan is going to do. So if, you know, like the Orlando Magic rumors that were out there that they wanted some of the young talent like a Derek or DeJounte, and I'm willing to part with one, not both, in a trade if I know I've got a long-term deal with DeMar. Chris Haynes of Yahoo Sports says the Spurs are not actively engaged in seeking out a trade for DeMar, but that could change if they can't work out an in-season extension leading up to the trade deadline. Currently, though, no dialogue between DeMar's reps and the Spurs on that extension. So it sounds like they want to get a long-term commitment from DeMar before the season, or before the deadline, so that if not, he could be gone, so they get something in return for DeMar DeRozan.
I see the Spurs, especially the way the first half of the season went for DeMar DeRozan and San Antonio. I think you can't not believe that the Spurs don't want to have him back. I mean, his veteran presence is one thing, but he's having a career season so far. They clearly, as proof from last night, they need him on that court, whether it's he's the star of the show, clutch in the fourth quarter, or just that facilitator as a ball handler. I have going into the season, we talked about this, Jason. We weren't sure about DeMar DeRozan and how we felt about him moving forward, and that contract extension he got in, November. That was pretty early in the offseason. And so a lot of that has changed. The mood has changed. The attitude has changed as he's grown so much, not only grown so much with his team, but has shown his value in this new style of Spurs, this young gun, push the ball, push the pace style of Spurs that is doing really well for San Antonio. So I have a hard time believing that the Spurs aren't trying to extend his contract, like you said. I also think you have to remember he's got a lot going on outside of basketball right now.
Sure.
He's out for the second game in a row due to personal reasons, just lost his father and has been home with his family. Coach Pop said he expects DeMar DeRozan to rejoin the team at some point during this trip, but no concrete timeline as to when. So I'm not surprised that there's no quote unquote dialogue or serious conversations had. But I bet you anything that the Spurs franchise is looking for ways to hold on to him just because of his production and he's worth the first half of the season.
Jill, I think that's a great point, and certainly one that's worth remembering. It's easy to kind of get lost in the basketball of it all, the fun and the contracts and the trade machines and whatnot. With regards to tonight's game, I'm curious, since you seem to be more passionate about this than at least Jason, what's the break point? Like, where do you pull the plug if it goes down what particular downward trend?
Well, wait a minute. You mean
Against
tonight
the
they're
worst
playing the
team in the
Pistons,
Eastern
who are the
Conference?
worst team in the East. They're 10 and 28. The break point. The break point. Are you kidding? There better not be a break point.
That's what I'm saying though. Like we're talking about the game from last night, so like a humiliation. So like, is there a break point, or is that the mentality? Like, no, we put this in the box of games we have to win, so there can be no break point tonight, and then it's like a true organic loss, which is all the more embarrassing.
Hey, here's the thing, DeJounte. I'm going to tell you what DeJounte Murray said last night after the game. He said, we got our butts kicked, except he had two bad words in there that I'm not even going to try to say. So just imagine how upset DeJounte Murray was in that post-game presser. And you have to imagine the rest of his team was feeling the same. I have a hard time believing, RJ, that we're not going to get anything other than full-blown Spurs mode tonight. Not only are the Pistons struggling and almost, basically in a rebuild, giving up this season and last in the Eastern Conference, the Spurs are coming off an embarrassing loss. They got their pride hurt. They I'm sure Coach Pop let them have it after the game. I would be very, very surprised if we see anything remotely close to last night.
I look at
disagree.
No, I mean, I expect the only thing is I don't know how much Pop had to yell at them after last night's game. They're yelling at themselves.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
know
point.
what it's
That's
like
true.
to get embarrassed. I mean, I don't know, what is Detroit known for food wise? I see a new pizza commercial with some sort of deviled pepperoni. I know Little Caesars is from there, but whatever it is, like in Philadelphia, they all got cheesesteaks. I don't know what Pop withheld from. All right, you're coming to Detroit. You guys don't get anything special.
Music.
Go to your. All right, leave your AirPods and headphones on the bus. Just go to your room, and because you can't go out and do anything either. But that's one of those. You get on the plane in Philadelphia, you fly to Detroit, you go to the room, you show up at the gym, and you try to forget last night happened. I mean, last night was so bad. You're not watching film. He doesn't need to yell at you for missing an assignment. If he did anything, he found somebody that did something good that might have been encouraging, like Luka. Man, that streaking dunk, that was awesome, man. Glad you finally got into the highlight reel. But outside of that, and this is one of those games where you can do to Detroit what Philadelphia did to you last night. You embarrassed the hell out of Orlando the other day. You got embarrassed. Time to go embarrass somebody else and feel good about yourself.
They got more than that, Jason. They got to go on the streak. They got to get this game. They got to get Chicago, and they got to get Cleveland, and at least have a little bit of momentum going into their game against the Bucks on Saturday.
When you talk about, and we've talked about winnable games, RJ, I mean, with the way the playoffs are going this year, 7 to 10, you're in that play-in tournament. So even if you get the 7th or 8th, you're not necessarily guaranteed a playoff spot. And if you want to be a playoff team, either get to 6, but now you've got to worry about staying within 7 to 10. And, bad losses against good teams, you can deal with that. And it's Eastern Conference. You can, the damage of the loss last night, other than your pride, isn't as major as, say, if you lose to a Western Conference team, but you have dominated the East. And this is one of the worst team, record-wise, the worst team in the East that you're playing tonight. This game should be over by halftime, but in a very favorable Spurs way.
I think that's well said. I hope that there was some sort of incorporation of 8 Mile, because this is Detroit, to go back to like things that are from there. So like if Pop got everybody like doing the 3-1-3, like maybe that's what it took. I don't know if that reference went over your head, Jason, but yeah, like somebody has to average 31.3 points tonight. That's the challenge.
31, huh?
There it is. I like it. I like your game plan, RJ. I like it a lot.
Jill Jelnick from Sports Tonight and YOLO, Texas. Always appreciate you joining us here on Game Night San Antonio, brought to you by Mellow Mushroom. RJ Ochoa on Twitter at RJ Ochoa. Always appreciate it. Rob's scheduled to be back tomorrow, and we're talking about a big Spurs win. That's tomorrow on the Blitz.
Love the Blitz? Well, why not watch along and interact with the guys every weekday from 4 to 7? You can watch the show live every day at ESPNSA.com or on the ESPN San Antonio Facebook and YouTube pages. Just search ESPN San Antonio and subscribe.